Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I just like leaving them hanging. One of these days, I'm gonna set up a stream like at 5 o'clock and not show up till like 10 and see how many people just wait.
I think we'd lose subscribers that way.
Is that taking advantage of your fans?
I think it's somehow cruel and unusual to deny them
You know what?
how awesome
You know
we
what I'll
are.
do? I'll just play really shitty music on a loop for 4 hours first.
Well, a lot of streamers do that. They're like 30 minutes of intro, and then you're trying to watch the stream, trying to figure out where the starting point of the show is. You're like, oh my God, it's like 20 minutes. What's going on?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey of the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody.
Ah, Jack, how the hell are you, my friend?
I am kind of tired, actually. How are you?
I'm really tired of my back.
Oh.
The pains that I've had in my back, it's gone from just the straight up pain to the muscle not wanting to move at all. It's livable. It's better than the pain was, but it's just irritating. Why is so much of life just fucking irritating?
I have no idea, man. I've been asking that question for a very long time.
I just want to sit around and be happy, but there's irritation all around. Some of y'all know that if you looked at the thumbnail. But it's just amazing to me how many things, they don't really piss me off. It's just like, why is that a thing? Why does this happen?
I don't know. I asked that about the opening of the Olympics, and then I was like, oh yeah, we live in a world of degeneracy.
I also am bothered by strange thoughts and stuff. My cat likes to lick herself in front of the window. And I just wonder if, like, can animals be exhibitionists? When I say she licks herself in front of the window, Jack, she turns her crotch towards the window and kicks that leg up and goes to town on herself.
Oh, maybe they just like the warm sun on their hoo-hoo dillies.
Well, she does it even when it's not sunny out.
Well, then they like the attention they get. I have a meme for this, actually.
Somebody sent me one where there's a cat laying on her back and she's got her legs spread and there's a whole bunch of chickens on the other side of the glass door.
Yes, that's the one I have.
When I saw that, I went, oh my God, it's Phoebe. Maybe she's trying to make money for catnip. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's not what we're here to talk about. That's just how my mind works. Welcome to my fucking world. Internet drama. This isn't internet drama. This is somebody being a fucking asshole. And I will not be preached at from fucking creeps who give firm handshakes to grown men who admitted to speaking sexually with a fucking child.
Yeah.
Not just a guy. He didn't just give a firm handshake to that guy. He gave a firm handshake to him for admitting it. So, Jack, the other day, Charlie, Moist Critical, Penguin Zero here on YouTube, and Sneako had a debate. And it's incredibly hard to watch. We're actually going to watch some of it later. It's really bad. Neither one of them comes off very good.
What was it? Duplo versus regular Lego?
Actually, it was over Sneako's age of consent. Sneako really wants to bang a kid. He says he doesn't, but he is all in on age of consent isn't really a thing. It shouldn't be. It's arbitrary. You should be able to bang anybody he thinks is mature enough.
Is he a Muslim now?
Yeah. Ish. Last I knew, he was rethinking his Muslimness because he wasn't allowed to, do Western things. But in this debate, Charlie has some bad takes too, including one where he's defending trans kids being able to, cut off their titties and stuff. And it's not a good look for either of them. I think both of them, when it comes to the age of consent stuff, I'm all in with Charlie because he's like, no, 18, hard line, the end. But when it comes to little kids can make life-altering decisions, that's where I jump off the Charlie train. You're like, no, that's fucking stupid. This is a guy who's arguing that kids can't consent to marry, but they can consent to chopping off their breasts, as long as a doctor agrees with them. That's asinine. It's fucking stupid. And I think we're on record quite loudly with how we feel about that shit around here.
Yeah, I would hope. I mean, if you haven't picked up on what we're putting down there, then I think you need more help than we can provide.
Like I said, we will check in on that Charlie debate later because part of it is just absolutely insane, Jack. And we have to, the Jews get brought into it. It's fucking amazing.
Jesus Christ.
But you guys now have enough backstory for where tonight's topic picks up. The quartering, being the pillar of morality that he is,
Okay.
tweets out, I would like to debate Moist Critical on gender affirming care. He has 16 million subscribers. That's where you should have stopped, because that's the only thing that matters here. You're not debating Joe Blow McGee, who says the same shit. I just be honest. I want Moist Critical's audience. We all know you're a little whore. Just admit you're a little whore.
Yeah, just admit you're clout chasing. We all know.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Don't try to dress it up as though you have something good to say. Look, we've seen you debate.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody who has to delete tweets more than you for making bad arguments. Even Boogie can look at you and go, God damn, dude.
Right?
You're
Boogie's back on X, by the way.
You're worse than Boogie at arguing. Let that sink in.
Oh, man, that's mean.
It's true, though.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying it's mean.
Thank you, Alan. Love you guys. No homo. Thank you for becoming a member for month number 8.
Hi, Alan.
My friend. And
I don't have my...
I'm not going to say no homo. I haven't seen you, so I might be a little homo there.
Nah, I'm in the no homo camp. I don't have my Streamlabs open.
A little rub on the butt, not like penetration or anything.
Look, if you want to play footsie, I'll play footsie with you, but I ain't going in the back and bumping Peters. That's not
no. All above the clothes stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck. Thank you so much, Travis Gardner. What's the deal with people wanting to fuck kids? They get to a certain level of internet famous and think, I need to join the Velcro shoes crowd. Ever since hitting 40, most people under 30-ish irritate me. I don't know. It's weird to me how many of these guys have this take of lowering age of consent or judging things based on maturity. It's creepy. And I think it has a lot to do with people who seek fame. There seems to be a contingent of the artistic crowd, Jack, that how do I want to put this? Seem to get their art from young inspiration. We see it in Hollywood. We see it. We see it in Hollywood, music. If you name a big venue like that, it's amazing how many creeps are attracted to it. I don't know. Maybe it's how they get their kids.
Well, it's easy access. If you have a fan base, chances are a percentage of them are going to be young. And some industries are more prolific with kids, like education. We've seen that countless times.
Sure.
Some people are just drawn to things that will get them access to children. We used to see it a lot with like people in the entertainment industry that worked around kids, like on kids shows and stuff.
Anyway, let's get back to the quartering here. I would like to debate Moist Critical on gender affirming care. He has 16 million subscribers and told them that 12-year-olds getting a double mastectomy is the same as kids quitting football. I would like to discuss. If you're a fan of his, please let him know. One, why would Charlie care what you think? Honestly. I want to talk to Moist. I want to talk to Moist Critical too. If you're a fan of Charlie's, let him know Monkey wants to come hang out. I would like his 16 million subscribers to find out how funny I am, Jack. I think that would be great for me. Well, Shio, thank you. I don't see the problem. They're just trying to fit in.
Oh,
fuck those guys, wood chippers, all of them. Thank you, Shio. Goddamn. And thank you, Dark Conservatarian. Hey, Monk, seen the latest update on Andy Tate? I sent you a DM. Also, I feel like Bering needs to be informed on Tate's scummy ass. I'm noticing a lot of people. I saw the the Hodge twins retweet fucking Andrew Tate the other day. I don't know what the latest is on Tate, and I'm not going to bring it up on screen here. I'll look it up. The last I saw is they tried claiming that the Florida courts vindicated them, and what they did is they put up just a clip from a ruling from a judge, and all the ruling says is that the case that they have against one of the people that they raped can go forward. That's all it says. It says that there's enough to the allegations that we should let a jury decide, basically. And they're like, look, even the judge agrees with us that there's something wrong here. No, that's how it goes in court cases.
Yeah.
But his whole fan base is like, see, vindication. Anyhow, so I look with the first tweet here from the courtroom, I don't really give a shit. He's almost being honest there, just like, I want Moist Critical to notice me.
Yeah, well, he wants the attention. Doesn't have to be Moist Critical, but he wants to talk to Moist Critical to get access to his fan base.
Now, here's where I got irritated.
What? You? I am shocked
right?
by this assessment.
His current plan is to spam out video and try to hide from his dangerous rhetoric. First of all, nobody has to hide from that rhetoric. It's actually pretty well accepted. I disagree with it 100%, Jack, but you and I don't control the media.
No.
Nobody's going to get in trouble for saying that, not with the media at least, and not in the circles that most of these people run in, for saying that children should be able to make these life-changing decisions. He's trying to hide. No, he's not. There's nothing to hide from. There should be. This should be looked down upon, but it's not. Frank, thank you. Don't forget, Quartering have tips on hiding CP. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. One of his earliest videos that we know about is him telling people who have child porn on their computer to make sure you clean that shit up before you take it in, because we'll have to report you for it. Or hide it better. Not don't have it. That wasn't his fucking advice. No. It was hide it better, because we kind of go through your shit. Dirty fuck. Anyway, he's trying to hide his videos. I'm willing to delete my entire YouTube presence if I cannot make a compelling case for why he's wrong. I await your reply, Charlie. There should be a comma after reply, bud. Now, the reason this irritated me, Jack, besides what I already just said, that you don't have to hide this shit. It's accepted in our society right now.
Yeah.
But I do watch Penguin Zero from time to time. So I went over to his channel. I was like, what just happened?
I don't know. What happened? What I missed?
It just told me that my sound was out. Anyway.
Huh?
Anyway, so I go over to Charlie's channel, and you guys can see here, I'm not a huge Charlie fan. If you look at the red bars at the bottom of the videos, there's very few in here. I don't watch him that often, but I do watch him enough to know what his basic posting pattern is. He posts between 1 and 3 videos a day. Now, remember, this happened 2 days ago, and there's 6 videos up since then. It's literally his normal posting pattern. But Jeremy's like, he's trying to hide it. He's trying. Debate me, pussy.
So Jeremy's trying to hide stuff all the time then? Because doesn't he do the same thing?
Oh, he deletes shit outright. He like, no, I never said that shit. That's out of context.
Yeah, like there's probably an entire Kiwi Farms thread of people that just screenshot what he says in case he deletes it later.
Now, my response to this was, why are you like this? This part's important. Please pay attention to the next couple of words. I think Moist Critical is wrong. Did everybody hear those 4 words? Or sorry, 5 words? I think Moist Critical is wrong. Is that in any way ambiguous, Jack?
I mean, it depends how you look at it from a certain point of view. Saying they're wrong could mean something else. That could be a dog whistle.
I suppose.
It could be a llama whistle.
I could have thought he was wrong on his take on which Taco Bell food is the best.
It's true.
I mean, anybody with a brain can see it's within the context of the conversation, but I go on to say, I think Moist Critical is wrong. What? Somebody just said that's 6 words. No, Moist Critical is 1 word. It's his hashtag there, or his handle. So it's just 1 word there. I can count, fucker. Anyway, I think Moist Critical is wrong, but he's not doing anything different than he always does with his posting. No one's afraid to debate you. You're bad at it. Not even Boogie has been shamed into deleting as many bad takes as you have. I stand by every word I said there.
Yeah.
Cryptic, thank you. For old time's sake, my boss fired me for making too many Asian jokes. It was the end of my career. You go get me in trouble, man. Anyway, so I again, anything ambiguous there, I feel like I laid it out quite clear.
I mean, I guess if you want to get technical.
My problem isn't with him saying that Charlie's wrong, because I agree Charlie's wrong.
Yeah.
My problem is with him lying about Charlie trying to run and hide from this. I'm going to be the one that gets him, you guys.
I'm going to expose him, you guys. Totally exposing him.
This is how Jeremy responded. Imagine defending a guy with 12 million subscribers. I thought it was 16. That was just 2 posts ago, dude. Imagine defending a guy with 12 million subscribers saying children should get a double mastectomy is the exact same as a kid quitting the tennis team. He literally said this, you creep. Did I
stop appropriating my creep culture?
Did I say that he was right? I literally said he is wrong. But you can't address what I actually fucking said. You can't look at it and go, oh, he's talking about how I lied about Charlie trying to hide it.
Well, I'm looking at the screen, right? And I can see where you said, I think Moist Critical is wrong.
He literally fucking quotes it.
Yeah. Like, why would you quote tweet that instead of a reply?
I said, I say he's wrong, and you point out that you're lying when you suggest he's spamming videos when his posting is following its normal pattern, and that makes me a creep. Okay. Want to talk firm handshakes, cunt? Last I knew, he hadn't responded to this. I wouldn't either. And Jeremy, if you have a brain in your head, you'll just shut the fuck up now, because oh boy, are we gonna have fun with this. Jack,
How long before he deletes that tweet?
Let's is this the one? Yeah, this is the one I want. This is in regard to his defense. I don't know if defense is really even the right word, but his weird take when it came to the Dr. Disrespect. Now, Dr. Disrespect, for those of you who don't remember, this is the guy who got away for years with having sexually messaged a child on the Twitch DM thing. What was it called? Whispers. And he gets kicked off the platform and nobody knows why, and it's all hush hush. And then Nick Merckx comes out and goes after Ava Chris Gardner. And so somebody who's a fan of them dropped, and happens to be a Twitch moderator, without saying his name, just points out that, just says, hey, just so everybody knows, the guy was kicked off for sexually messaging a minor. And everybody immediately knew it was Dr. Disrespect, which, by the way, says a whole lot about all the people who hang out with this guy and support this guy, that everybody immediately knew he was the one that was being talked about. There's a big problem, and we talked about this with the Ava Chris Tyson situation on the last show, with people like Mr. Beast ignoring the horrible behavior of these people until it becomes a big deal. It should be a big deal immediately, but it happens and everybody just kind of quiets it down, and then later it blows up and suddenly everybody's like, oh my God, I didn't even know. Like, bitch, we got you responding to shit. But anyway.
Yeah,
So
real quick before we
go
go on. Thank you, Cryptic. I really enjoy orally servicing my Asian girlfriend. You didn't need to keep going. But I feel so empty inside about an hour later.
Nice.
Well, that's because you're only doing it orally, and she feels empty inside too. What she really needs is a hot dog between some buns, maybe with a little sauce.
He's Asian. She's going to feel empty inside anyway. Oh, that was rude. Sorry, Cryptic.
Thanks, Cryptic.
That's an Asians have little wieners joke.
Asian women have tight pussies.
You don't want to go with me on that?
Nope.
All right. So this is the quartering trying to pretend he didn't say what he absolutely said. Point to me where I said it was okay for a grown man to inappropriately message minors. I'll wait. This guy community noted on Twitter. The note says the burden of proof fallacy is easily disputed as there are multiple screenshots available of the quartering responding to Dr. Disrespect's admission of inappropriately messaging minors with firm handshakes, as can be readily seen in the comments. And if you go to those, and we're not going to, but if you go to those, most of them are just the screenshot of firm handshakes, which doesn't show what he's replying to, Jack. That could be anything, man. Cryptic, thank you, says, how dare you use a microscope? I'm not the one that has to hold it when you pee, dude. And so I knew what was going to happen as soon as I saw the firm handshake thing, because it's the same thing that always happens with the quartering. I knew that he would be like, that never happened. I deleted it. So I took my own screenshot and made sure to get the actual Dr. Disrespect part of it. Now, over to Dr. Disrespect's Twitter. It's still there. At least it was 2 days ago. I keep waiting for this pedophile to come back online because I just want to roast the shit out of him.
Well, yeah.
But you can go over there and read this. This is where he admits, hey, I was sexually speaking with a child. He dresses it up. We read through it when it happened, but it's exactly what he basically just comes, yeah, I did it. And the quartering responded, firm handshakes. He gave respect to a man, because that's what you give a firm handshake for after somebody says something like, oh, well done. Well done. It's not something you do to shame somebody. Get over here, I'm gonna fucking shake your hand, you little bitch. It's done to show respect. He gave respect here to a man admitting to sexually speaking with a child. And you got the fucking balls to call me a creep? Because I said I didn't even agree with the part that Charlie said that you called creepy? You fucking piece of shit. Go fuck yourself. And again, this is on top of the fact that this man has a video. It's not on his channel anymore because he deletes everything. But you can go find the video of him telling people with child porn how to keep it from getting found. And if you listen to the defense of this, because people have been defending this ever since it first blew up, they're like, oh no, he was really just saying that you should be careful with the stuff on your kid. No, he is specifically talking about somebody who got busted because they had CP on their computer and the place he worked for had to report it. That is what, just like in this case, he's not just saying firm hand. This isn't Dr. Disrespect came out with a tweet that said, hey, I just gave $1,000 to a children's charity. And you go, oh, firm handshake. No, it is specifically in regards to him admitting having conversations with a child about sex. Now, the best defense he has of this, Jack, oh, this is my favorite part, is Dr. Disrespect. There's 3 different versions of this tweet that he put out admitting this. In one of them, it specifically says minor. And then in the next one, he took out the word minor. And then in the third one, he puts the word minor back. And Jeremy's defense is, I didn't see the word minor. I almost dropped that F-bomb that I had to chant before the show started. All right, cunt. What was he responding? Let's say you didn't see the word minor. What was this post in response to?
Oh, Monkey, I think you're misunderstanding here. He didn't see minor because he doesn't see age, maybe the way some people don't see color.
It was specifically about somebody having sexual conversations with a minor, and he didn't say in there, hey, it wasn't a minor. So you saying I didn't see the word minor, it doesn't matter. He was admitting that the rumors were true, whether he put the word minor in there or not, and you gave a firm handshake for that. You are sus. I think the FBI should be all up. They'll probably like it all up in your fucking hard drive. Although, as we know, you know how to hide it, right? Do not fucking come at me and call me a creep because you're being a little bitch trying to clout chase and lying about people. Charlie's not hiding stuff. Again, you don't have to hide that asininity. It's well accepted within society to say that stupid shit. But for fuck's sake, you don't get to just go out there and lie about people and then be like, what? You're a creep because you're defending them. I'm not defending them. I'm pointing out the truth. Something you should get fucking acquainted with.
The truth is not always profitable, Monkey.
It's not. It's really not.
He's got to delete it to for the good of the community.
Jeremy, you're a pedo defending dickwad. Go fuck yourself. But your entire world is stolen from other people.
Monkey, how can you say that?
From the way he does his videos, to his fucking avatar, to his fucking thumbnails, everything is to his fucking coffee. He stole coffee.
Look, he liberated the idea from. Oh,
you've been very successful doing it, very successful, and you still don't have enough. You got to go out there and lie about people. You had a good point at the beginning. You could have stopped there, but instead you had to go and lie and pretend that Charlie's fucking hiding something that lefties don't have to hide. Nobody is afraid of you. We've all seen you debate. We've all listened to you. You're boring as shit and dumb. You are the just pearly things of the right, motherfucker.
Ooh, oh.
If another man doesn't say it, you won't think it. So shut the fuck up and sit your little pedo defending ass down. Anyhow.
He's not defending them so much as wanting to shake their hands, which implies some sort of relationship, maybe a friendship of sorts. Yeah, he respects them.
Yeah.
He respects the players.
You had the fucking nerve to call me a creep. You asshole. Anyhow, Jack, I thought it would be kind of fun to watch the Moist Critical and Sneako debate. And I apologize for doing this to you.
No, you don't. You thrive on this. This is revenge for all the times I make you look at shit Frosted sends me.
Oh,
and it's fair.
God.
I mean, it's totally fair.
We are like over an hour into this. What is it, an hour and 9 minutes in? I just was jumping around I do not want to watch this 3.5 hour debate on stream because we all know how that would go. It would take a really long time, and a lot of it is repetitive anyway. But it's in here where I decided to go just before Sneako brings up the who's behind it all stuff.
Are you sure this isn't a cam show? Because this looks like a cam show.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like Sneako's going to be sticking things in and around himself.
All right.
For
$20. For those of you who don't know who these people are, on the left, that is Charlie. You've heard me talk about him. We were just talking about him. Moist Critical, Penguin Zero here on YouTube. And on the right is Sneako, who, if I remember correctly, is like only on Rumble now. Maybe Kick. I don't know if he dual streams or not.
Hang on real quick. A couple things before we go in. Thank you, Shio. We were at a signing event where Brian Urlacher was signing. Sorry, Jack Sports Talk. And watched someone get kicked out for asking what Paris Hilton's pussy tasted like.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's pretty funny at the same time. And
Yeah,
now I'm curious. I suspect it's a little salty.
I bet it's a lot salty. Jeremy 100 down. Jeremy's 100-inch waistline. Thank you. Stop clout chasing me. You're just jelly because of my coffee. Indeed.
Is it jelly flavored coffee? Because that would actually make a lot more sense. Also, we did have a birthday request for Sherry.
Okay, Sherry, we'll get to that in 1 second. The quartering is just proof that you can get a massive audience just by being a milquetoast motherfucker who occasionally says something provocative and then runs from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people just want safe content. They don't want anything too intellectually stimulating. They don't want to get in the weeds because it's too complicated and they're probably a little dumb. And there's a lot of dumb people out there. So yeah, you're 100% right.
Sherry, it's your birthday, and around here we do this. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sherry. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I hope you had a great one. I really, really do. All right. So these two idiots, and I do like a lot of Charlie's takes on other things, not on the trans stuff he talks about here. I find him to be in. I really love his videos that he does where he's talking about bad dates and stuff. He reads the Reddit forum bad dates, and they're funny as hell and they're great, but that's not what they're talking about here. Here, these two have had an ongoing conversation for well over a year, and a lot of it revolves around Sneako and his weird child thing. I'll leave it at that. Next 6 minutes. Thank you. Hey, Monk and Jack. I'm interested in creating a website to promote the writing thing and could use some advice. Also, never look at stuff Frosted sends you because it's always weird as fuck or totally awesome like ninjas.
That's true.
A website to promote writing things. I don't know how much a website to promote writing things will help you in the short term. That tends to be more of a long-term thing unless you already have a built-in audience. By all means, set it up and make it look as professional as you can. Go look at other writers. Don't just crib them directly, but get ideas from them. Much more importantly, though, would be to get in writers' groups online in different writing circles to get the name out there. Because without that, there's tons of people who have websites that have never had a visitor.
Yeah, you need to have weekly updates at least.
Yep.
On there, whether you're just posting like a blog or articles or something like that, and you'll need to use keywords. You have to look up what keywords you'll want to have, like writing and article and how to stuff like that in there. That'll help get your name out. But yeah, your monkey's right. You gotta do multi-pronged strategy.
Yep.
So go do your website and then like link it to something else, like your blog or something like that. So it's getting more in the algorithms to drive traffic and getting into groups and occasionally telling them what your website is. That sort of thing. Because those writing groups, those people have nothing but free time because most of them don't actually do any writing. They just talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
I took a lot of writing classes in college because I was an English ed major. And boy, writers love to talk about writing, but not actually commit to it. Or they think they're great and they suck donkey cock. So you're going to have to talk to them. If you publish through Amazon, go in their forums and talk there. And people will buy each other's books a lot through there, but they don't really get much done otherwise. They don't do a lot of writing of their own. They have like one book and that's it. So just don't give up. Don't get discouraged. And you have to stick with it you have to be in it for the long haul. Treat it like a part-time job. Always be marketing.
Will says, who we got here? Jesus and Muhammad? Kind of. There are people who call Charlie Internet Jesus, and this is Sneako, who started out as a kind of edgy. He started out playing video games and giving what for his age were considered edgy takes on politics and stuff. He becomes he goes to work for Mr. Beast for a little bit, gets fired from that, there's a long history there, but he eventually becomes a Tate bro and then falls in with the Fuentes crowd. That will become very clear very quickly. And he really, really, really loves the movie Cuties.
Not creepy at all.
Not creepy at all. And they get together because apparently Sneako's been on his age of consent kick again. And him and Charlie got together for this thing. Now, I'm starting this where Sneako is giving 3 definitions that they've agreed to, which is one of the places Charlie fucks up, because the first definition they agree to, Sneako gets the definition wrong. It's the definition of child, Jack.
Oh my God.
And Sneako says the only definition of child is somebody who hasn't been through puberty yet, which is not the only definition of child. It's not the legal definition of child.
No.
The legal definition of child is somebody who has not reached the age of majority. For those who don't know what the age of majority is, that is the age at which the society you're living in, whether it's the Western world or the Islamic world or the Hindu world or wherever the fuck you happen to be, where society deems you as responsible for your actions, able to enter legal contracts, you have the legal responsibilities and rights of an adult. That is what the age of majority is. You can look this shit up. Google fucking definition of a child, and it will tell you someone who hasn't reached puberty or someone who hasn't reached the age of majority. Check it out. I'm not lying to you. I have no reason to. But anyway, so we got the definitions. You ready, Jack?
Okay.
So it's either
holy shit. Is that really loud to you?
Yes, that is a tad loud.
Let's bring that down a bit.
Wait, when did I contribute?
The definition of pedophile.
Are we?
It's better. Sneako's loud and Charlie's kind of quiet. So
Sneako goes up and down because he keeps like rocking into his microphone.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can hear Charlie still. I have to turn Sneako down.
File is child lover, right?
We can
the definition.
get rid of pedophile.
The definition. We define that. Okay, so
the definition of pedophile is child lover. Now, if you are using his definition of child of somebody not having hit puberty yet, true. That's what it means. Pedophile does not mean child lover. It means somebody who's attracted to somebody who is prepubescent. That's the actual definition.
Yeah.
Past puberty, before the age of majority, it is called hebophile. Or I forget. It's something like hebophile. Yeah.
It's hebophile. Yeah.
So, however, I use a general term of pedophile for anybody who's fucking kids. And to me, a kid is anybody under the age of majority. So, anyway, a pedophile is just somebody who has sex with a child. No. It's actually the attraction to a child. The left has made sure we know that.
Yeah.
And he's playing into their hand there, by the way. With the whole lowering of age of consent and stuff, you're actually making the disgusting people's argument there, Sneako. He just really wants to bang a kid and won't admit it. That's my take after reading or after watching this fucking debate. He repeatedly, Charlie asked him, would you have sex with, like, I think 9-year-old is one of the, I don't know where they came up with 9. Seems kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, it's totally random. Not Mohammed at all.
Thank you, Dark Resurrect. Whatever you call it, wood chipper doesn't care. It hungers all the same. Thank you for that. Feminist $12. Indeed.
Wood chipper doesn't give a shit.
But anyway, Charlie asked, would you do that? As this idiot's arguing that it should be okay to. Oh, I would never do that. I mean, didn't we have this same shit with Amos Yee? When arguing for getting rid of age of consent and that pedophilia is really not that bad. I'd never do it myself. Remind me what he was for.
Oh yeah. It's almost like he was a liar.
Trying to bang a 14-year-old, if I remember correctly. Exchanging nude pics with a 14-year-old, but he was totally not one of those people who did. He's just having the intellectual argument. I'm so tired of that goddamn excuse. I'm just having the intellectual argument.
Yeah, it doesn't sound that way though.
You have that argument way too often for just to be about the intellect of it.
Yeah.
Unless you're going with the women version of men's brain being in their penis. I'm just saying. I totally wouldn't do it. Yeah, you would.
We define 3 terms. Child, somebody not physically mature. Adult, somebody physically mature. Pedophile, child lover.
Physically mature, Jack.
Well, what does that mean? Like, are we talking Tanner stage 2 or stage 3? Because I'm going to call this guy Mr. Tanner if he keeps this up.
Well, Tannero here. Define physically mature. Because, again, he gives the definition of child very early on as somebody who hasn't been through puberty yet. Well, we mature physically even after puberty. Unless you're saying puberty lasts until, 25 is basically... Actually, your ears keep growing your whole life, right? And yes. Your nose?
So is your nose, yeah.
So when is it mature? If you mean when there's hair around it, then say that's what you mean. But these are such vague definitions. And this is why somebody like Charlie should not be having this debate. He's not, no offense to Charlie, not intelligent enough for it.
Yeah.
And I'm using the word intelligent there in its actual meaning. He does not have the knowledge for it. And it ends up giving Sneako little wins here and there. Admitting that child just means somebody who hasn't been through puberty is wrong, because that's not the definition.
Real quick. Okay. Thank you, Okie Native. If only there was an author out there who had a pastiche of a superhero who throws an object and could feed you and could edit a 3rd volume, the world would be slightly worse or better or neither. I'm working on it, dude. I'm working on it. I don't have a lot of free time, but yeah, I'm about halfway through the final edit. So probably just be another 6 months to a year. I'm turning into George R.R. Martin.
That's called ignorant, not unintelligent. An intelligent test is a test of what you know. It's literally intelligence is the opposite of ignorance. So being unintelligent is being ignorant. Anyhow.
Now, based off those definitions, 18 has nothing to do with it. There's no numbers.
That's not medically accurate at all.
He's Sneako and he said it on the internet, so clearly it's true.
Yeah, no, a normal Tanner stage 3 is 9 to 14. That's the general guideline parameters, and that's the enlargement of breast and areola, those separation of their contours. For males, stage 3 would be a penis enlargement of 9 millimeter to 12 millimeter. I mean, you can look this up in 10 seconds. This is not fucking rocket science. We've been documenting child development for decades.
Yeah. Black Romeo says, I feel the need to defend Charlie on his trans kid take. He doesn't actually know that kids get procedures done. He thinks they go through therapy and transition when they're 18. The problem with that is twofold. One, he should not be talking about this without the knowledge. And that happens way too often when people who stay in your fucking lane, okay? People who normally do more social content try to dip their toes in the political waters. But the other one is even the therapy, the one drug they give kids is literally the drug that they give to pedophiles to chemically castrate them. So whether they actually cut off their junk or just make it so it doesn't work for the rest of their lives, that is still a life-altering thing that cannot be undone.
Yeah.
So even if I'm being as charitable as possible to Charlie here, he's still wrong. Anyway. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, thank you, JB. I don't care how he tries to big brain it. Leave kids alone. These kids grow up and they don't forget. True. And a lot of them, because of what they went through, end up offending themselves.
That's the point I'm making. There needs to be. You can't leave these things up to ambiguous. Well, this person and their family consented to marrying this 13-year-old and their family consented, so it's fine. Because
Okay.
it's not. It can't be.
Do you concede that you've changed your definition of all these words in this conversation?
Probably. This has been so all over the place. I don't know where we're at. So there's a very good chance.
You started off by saying, and you said it so many times in this conversation, that 18 means an adult and before 18 is child. Now you're
Legally, that's exactly what it means. Because even in states where he loves talking about states where there's 16-year-old age of consent laws, those 16-year-olds are not considered adults.
No, they're just capable of consent.
Yeah.
This is way more laid out than they're acting like it is. This has been solved already. They're trying to create an argument where this stuff has been done on the Tanner stage since 1969.
Yeah.
This has been standardized. The scale of development for kids is known as the Tanner scale. You can look this up. It's 5 stages. The first one starts around age 9, and Tanner stage 5 typically happens around age 15, especially for girls. That's boys, your balls have dropped by then. And Tanner stage 5, you've reached physical maturity. That means you can breed. That doesn't make you emotionally or mentally capable of handling what's happening. That just means physically you are. That's why we have 18 as the guidepost, because then people are considered intellectually mature enough to handle the responsibility of reproduction. This is not new. This is pretty well established science.
For the record, it's not in society. It's not just reproduction that we say at 18, that's where you're firm. We do it with signing contracts.
Yeah, because it's about the intellectual development and capable of making decisions and foreseeing consequences. Now, granted, I think the average person is a little dumber than they used to be due to lack of education, proper education, but that doesn't change the fact that the laws are structured in a way where we say the age of majority is where you're intellectually capable of making these kind of decisions. This is not new, and it's been established time and time again. And because these two idiots are too lazy to go look up what they're arguing, they're totally missing the point, and they're creating abstract and vague definitions of what these things are.
In fairness to Charlie there, these are not his definitions, and Sneako is the one who keeps trying to change it, and Charlie does agree with the whole child thing, which is stupid because he should have. I've seen him look shit up on stream before. Just do a quick Google search, dude. But you're right. It is just a way to try to pretend that this is vague, and it's not. No, Dutton, real quick, I appreciate the recommendation. I do have a TENS machine. It doesn't help very much, but I do appreciate that.
Real quick, thank you, Evolved Potato. Your ears and nose grows throughout your life is actually a myth. Your cartilage just weakens as you age, and they can't keep the same shape, causing sagging that makes it look like they grow. So what you're saying is they grow.
They grow. They stretch out.
Stretch out like a really tight Asian. I mean,
saying it's physical maturity.
No, I've still stood strong. 18 adult, under 18 child.
Is anybody else hearing this?
Like that.
You just changed your opinion in the span of 10 seconds.
I've never.
He didn't agree with you. He said probably, first of all, but he has been clear this entire time. I have watched this, Jack, that 18's the hard line. Did you see in 10 seconds each? No, he didn't. This is why somebody like Charlie should never argue with somebody like Sneako, because Sneako is from the destiny school of debate.
Yeah, every little thing is a gotcha. And
Yeah.
it's about winning, not about being accurate.
I watched this whole thing. Charlie's not a debater. He probably thought that Sneako had such a bad take that he didn't need to be a good debater for this, but it was painful to watch. Yeah. Their first one where they had their discussion when Sneako was doing the live stream or the in real life streaming, and Charlie was just talking to him. This is after we covered the thing way back when Sneako threatened to shoot Charlie.
Yeah.
That was all over Sneako being a dumbass and Charlie making fun of him and saying, your love of cuties is really fucking weird, dude. And so they had a discussion on it. And it was a much more calm discussion. This is when Sneako is going through a reformation of who he is. I will, Blood. But he's gone back into his full dumbass mode because that's what gets you clicks on the internet.
Eddie's kind of a dumbass.
He really is.
In the span of 10 seconds, I just defined these and you agreed. I said child is not physically mature. Adult is physically mature. Pedophile is child lover. You agreed. Then I brought up 18 and then you changed it. Now 18 is
okay. Even if he did agree that physically mature happens, at puberty, like the child is not physically mature, adult is physically mature. His wording is that 18 is the hard line, that it doesn't matter even going with your definitions. He gave you the hard line. This is what I'm talking about. If you're not good at arguing, please don't fucking do it. You just make whatever cause you're for look bad. Kevin, thank you. Not only do we need a national age of consent, but an international age of consent because we can talk to people overseas. There are people who go overseas so they can bang children.
Yeah, they're called sex tourists.
Yep.
It's very common in places like Thailand, poor third world countries.
Here in the United States, we actually do have laws against crossing internal borders, state to state, to have sex with children. There are international laws about it as well.
Yeah, we have a law specifically if you go to a third world country, especially Southeast Asia, for sex tourism, you go to jail here once they let you out if they arrest you. Because they will arrest you. It is illegal over there. So Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, they all are cracking down on sex tourism because there's a bunch of fucking pedophiles coming to their countries. Amazingly, they don't like that. And we have an agreement that if you are arrested for that, they will deport you back here and you can face up to like 20 years for it. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty awesome, actually, because they're actually fighting human trafficking. But thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. I hate this debate tactic. It's bombardment and derailment to confuse and ultimately dunk. It proves nothing is incredibly pointless. Yep. It's one of those things people do to feel smarter, not actually to look smarter. You just look like an asshole. And some people think that that's a debate tactic. Hunter Avalone does this a lot too.
You know who else does it? The quartering. If you look at what happened in our little exchange, it's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
He didn't address what I actually said. Instead, he changes the subject and just comes at me and calls me a creep.
He lied about what you said.
And lied, yeah.
It. Hey, Stargazer, thanks for dropping links.
Hi, Nuts. How you doing, sweetie? I have seen you. I should have said hi earlier. I was a little fired up when I started because a dude who told people how to hide child porn was calling me a creep.
Yeah. I'll take being a creep if that's who's calling me a creep.
Right. If being like you is non-creepy, I'll pass.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Exclusive. That's not mutually, those definitions are fine, but that you still need to classify in society what is and is not an adult, where that maturity is on a number.
Okay.
You have to do that.
The number has nothing to do with physical maturity.
So apparently, Jack, what we're supposed to do is if somebody wants to have sex with a child, we have to go examine them and make sure. Okay, I think that breast is going to get a little bit bigger, so you have to wait. But I think yours, even though you're the same age, yours look like they're fully developed, so you can.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. And there are age parameters with what I just read to you, the Tanner stages.
Yes.
There are age parameters already. So he is a fucking idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about.
But this is gaining traction online, and this is one of Nick Fuentes's points too. He's not real big on
his hard drive checked as well.
The only difference between Sneako and Nick Fuentes is that Sneako's let's call it Jeremy files are women or are little girls, where Fuentes's are little boys.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. Anyway,
definition that you just agreed upon.
It 100% does in terms of this relationship between a child and a fucking adult. It does.
I don't even know what you think a child is anymore. Is it somebody physically mature or somebody under 18?
Being physically mature actually doesn't mean shit.
Yep.
Physically mature in the way that he's using it only means able to breed without a high possibility of death. What about mentally mature? Hey, Sneako, do you think somebody who literally all they can do is drool on themselves has the ability to consent to sex if they're, let's say 30, Jack?
Oh, he said they're mature physically, so all those like really jacked up cerebral palsy people that are, there's nothing going on because it's just a brain stem. Yeah, apparently you could fuck a potato all day long. He's going to the JF Garrity School of Development.
Yeah.
Well, as what was required. So
I asked her if she wanted to, and she nodded. She wasn't nodding. She does that constantly.
Drool on yourself if you're really into it.
Right? Jesus fuck, man.
In society. But if you want to define child as puberty, that's fine, because that is the textbook definition of a child.
Okay,
and it is not. See, this is what I was talking about with Charlie. You don't know, shut up. You have a fucking computer right in front of you.
Yeah, look it up, dumbass. It's not hard to find.
You agreed that's what the definition is.
Yes, that is a fine definition. But you can still fall under 18 and be a child.
Okay.
That is the point.
Fair.
You are under 18, you are a child, you fall into.
And what he's trying to describe here, if he would have looked it up, he would have known the answer. It's the age of majority. That's what he's trying to say.
I understand what you're saying, and now I can understand your difference between legal and morality, right? There's a difference between legal and morals, right? Is Dr. Disrespect messaging? I don't know if he messaged a 17-year-old. It's fine. Let's use this hypothetical. He messages a 17-year-old.
For the record, we don't know that she was 17. That has not been confirmed by anyone. This girl could have been 13 for all we know.
Out of file.
As we've gone in circles. I would say it's a bad thing, and if we're going to
you're not answering the question. No. It's a simple question.
I would say you are going to a child.
You're not making sense.
Going to a child.
You don't know what this person is.
And I just want to clarify. I understand the technical definition of pedophile being pre-puberty, but I use it for all kitty fuckers.
That's what most people do, because clarifying the differences is distracting. People don't understand that there are differences, and you will end up in pointless tangents with people that don't know what they're arguing about.
Yeah. Although Googling for answers is not great now, Google what a woman is. That's fair, Darth Mondo. But you can Google the legal definition and look up the actual legal wording from state and federal laws.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can look up medical journals and sites like Mayo Clinic, even Healthline.
They kind of have the same problem, though, that they... Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Change definitions.
Yeah, but you can still go to like NCBI which is ncbi.hlm.nih.gov, and look up the Tanner stages. It's not that fucking complicated. You could just search Tanner stages of puberty or puberty stages of development, and you'll find the Tanner scale. It's not that complicated. This is not a argument that makes any sense if these people had any idea what the fuck they were talking about.
Thank you, Michelle. This is absurd. The guy in the red shirt, that's Sneako, should be ashamed. He's trying to normalize pedophilia and is acting frustrated. Age is what matters. Look, you can make arguments that we all mature at different rates. It's
Which
just
is
true.
accurate.
And I'm not even talking physically, Jack. I'm talking mentally even.
Well, yeah.
But we have to have, and this is the point Charlie makes over and over again. Sorry, I was waiting for a thing to come. We have to have a line. We can't get around that and have a functioning society.
No,
literally,
you need a delineation.
Literally, and I think this even gets brought up here a few times. If you go to Chris Hansen and the To Catch a Predator thing, all of these predators are like, I thought they were more mature. They seem very mature. They seem mature. The reason we don't use they seemed mature as a measurement for when it's okay for an adult to have sex with a minor is because that is arbitrary. So we put in a line. And you know what? Some people who are 18 probably are too immature to be having sex.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why it's legal for normal people to have sex with tards.
Fuck you. Sneako's firm handshake. Thank you so much. Put her there, Monk. Thank you, my friend. Fuck.
I don't want to be anywhere near that dude's hand.
Don't forget the rule not to be funnier than the host, okay? All right, here we go.
Just said it's somebody physically mature.
It's a minor. He said it's a minor.
You keep you've changed the words. I've heard so many different words for you. It's a legal minor, but is he a pedophile?
Yes, it's talking to a child. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jack. With
Sure.
Let's take Sneako's argument, right?
Okay.
I don't remember if it comes up right here or I know it comes up earlier in the show, but he brings up what if it's the day before their 18th birthday? What if it's a day? Is it still wrong? This was a big talking point. Excuse me. During the Dr. Disrespect thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about using the up until puberty line, right? Puberty is a process. It's not a day. It's not
puberty day.
It's puberty day. It is a process. So at what point does it stop being creepy? How do you know that they're done maturing at that point? Is it okay if they're just the day before final maturity? Do you see the problem with making it so fucking arbitrary? We have to have a line. And unfortunately, the only one we have is age.
Well, it's the only one you can use because everything else is too arbitrary. You have to literally do it on an individual basis then. And you'd have to do cognitive tests and different development inspections before you could have sex.
Yep.
And that just doesn't work. You have to have a generalized guideline.
Simplify it even further. Yes, he's talking to a child pedophile. Sure.
Your morality is arbitrary. It depends on nothing that makes it doesn't make physical sense.
Okay, the idea that 18 is arbitrary is also not correct. Here in the United States, that's the end of your schooling, of your primary schooling. This is a point where we've given you maybe not these days, but we've given you a whole bunch of tools to deal with life. We've taught you math and science and somewhat English. You've matured to the height of an adult. You're able to physically go out there and work. This isn't arbitrary, like they went, just pick a number out of a hat.
Yeah.
Because you just said it's based on maturity, and now it has to do with age. Those are two separate things.
I never said based on
there's
maturity.
No consistency.
I said there always needs to be a line. You can define a child based on puberty.
This is another thing that these debate bros do. You just said it's about maturity. No, he didn't. He never said it was about maturity. You're the one who kept chanting maturity. Oh, I fucking hate these people, Jack.
Yeah, I know. And you should, because they're fucking dumb.
And in fairness, Charlie does push back on this point very well. I didn't say that. What I said was, but it doesn't matter because the people who agree with Sneako, they don't actually care what's being said here. They just want to bang kids.
Yeah, it's about winning and or touching the kiddies.
Sneako was so right here. No, he wasn't. All Sneako's done here is convince me that if he takes his computer to Jeremy, he needs to hide stuff on it. Thank you, Dark Resurrect. At 18, you are supposed to have been taught the reasoning and critical thinking skills to understand what is in front of you so you can have informed consent. It's there for a reason. Right, exactly. It is not as arbitrary as people try to make it out to be.
Well, they have to make it arbitrary sounding so that they can,
so that their actual arbitrary bullshit doesn't sound that way.
Yeah, so it doesn't sound creepy when they make their disgusting arguments.
Yeah, we give a firm, hey, 18, and they're like, no, that's arbitrary. What we should do is based on maturity. Yeah, that's not arbitrary at all.
No, I mean, jeez.
Fuck, man.
Puberty and adult based on maturity, that's fine, but there needs to be a line where this line over it is adult, under it is child. That's
not even what you believe in.
How is that?
It's literally what he believes, and he just told you it.
He keeps telling you that.
And this is another thing. Charlie is speaking legally, and dipshit over here is speaking about when he can put his wiener in a little girl.
I was going to say, he's speaking. That's about all I got with him.
I'm sorry. If you have a 3.5 hour discussion arguing that you need to lower the age of consent to right after puberty, I'm going to call you a pedophile because I think you're attracted to children.
It does look that way, doesn't it?
Are you going to tell me you can tell a physical difference from somebody just beginning puberty and somebody a month into it? 2 months into it?
I bet Sneako thinks he can.
Oh, I bet he can. He knows the different smell.
Not what I believe in.
Because you just said it's maturity.
What do you mean?
You just said it's physical maturity. Brother. Why are you following something that you don't believe in?
What are you talking about? The definition of child and adult is fine, but there needs to be a line in society where over here you go into this category, under here you go into this category. It's crucial.
Okay.
Otherwise, we have what you had, 15 and 16-years are marrying adults.
Leave the legal thing out of it.
Leave the important element that we're arguing about out of this conversation. Just ignore that.
That's the pedo mantra right there. Leave legal out of it.
Yeah. We don't need to involve the police in this.
Dr. Disrespect is messaging a physically mature 17-year-old.
Again, this is theory. Nobody knows how old she was.
Yeah, we don't know how old she is, and nobody looked at a physical exam to see how physically mature she is. If she's like a slow progressor, she may not have even hit her menses yet.
Hey, Jack, can you remind me what precocious puberty is?
Oh, that's when you have puberty really young, like 7, 8, and it happens very quick. It usually is onset through somebody diddling you.
But in Sneako's world, that 9-year-old now who's been through puberty is an adult.
Yes. That's what he appears to be saying.
And perfectly capable of making decisions about having sex with grown-ups. This guy's a fucking creep.
Yeah, that's
such a thing. I don't believe there's such a thing.
You just said there was.
No, it's under a child. Under 18, you fall into the child category. You had puberty probably, or
one of the reasons I wanted to show this is Charlie does an okay job arguing against the age of consent shit that Sneako does here, and he's not getting enough credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
he makes a few bad arguments. Just pointing to the law being the law is not a great way. Point out why it's the law. Like 18 is not an arbitrary number. We do it because X, Y, Z. But everybody's, oh, they both did horrible. The only part that I really think, other than giving into the definition without looking it up, that Charlie really fucked up here is the trans stuff. But he deserves more credit than he's getting for taking Sneako to school here on pretty simple fucking concepts. When you make the pedo defender say, let's put the law away for a little bit, you've won. Keldrick, thank you. Sneako needs to lean on physical maturity because if he leans on mental maturity, he doesn't qualify as an adult himself. Fair. Tarkata, thank you. When Sneako goes to jail for CP, I'll be shocked. Yeah, me too. And JB, thank you. Hey, Sneako, what about all the evidence and studies that we have about victims of childhood sexual abuse? What about that shit? Hey, if they'd been through puberty, they'd be fine. That's all. Charlie argued better, but he also outed himself as a retard. He outed himself as somebody who is entrenched in leftist culture. Again, you guys have to remember, we're the weird ones by thinking you shouldn't mutilate children.
Maybe not, as you said, but you fell into the child category under 18. It's just, to me, it's that black and white. I don't think there's a huge argument. I don't know why that's so hard to understand, brother.
Because he wants to put his dick in a child.
That seems to be the argument that Sneako has here. Real quickly, though. Thank you, Evolved Potato. This dipshit Destiny style of ascribing opinions to their enemies and then talking over and badgering them to get them to defend their position they never held. It's for people they know are wrong. They are wrong, but don't care. I hate this shit. It gets me so angry. Yeah, because it's not a debate then. You're not having any kind of conversation. You just have somebody trying to bully you. It's very, very irritating.
Last time, because we're going in circles.
I know.
An adult is someone who's physically mature, correct?
No.
The definition of an adult, maturity, yep, and over 18.
Not the definition. We need to agree upon a definition.
Brother,
no,
the definition's fine.
Oh, I'm fine with agreeing on a definition, but the definition is the age of majority, 18.
Yeah, but Sneako wants to change the definition to something that benefits his position. He doesn't want to even concede that there is any other definition or possible definition. And that is ludicrous because you're going to just be either end up agreeing with them by de facto because they set the definition of the word. I mean, no, racism is power plus privilege. No, It's not. No, it's not. That's not the definition of that word. Why don't you idiots look it up and use a third-party arbitrator like Webster's Dictionary or the law or something like that?
Well, Sneako gave away the game earlier when he put the law away. Put the law away. He wants to make this based on each individual case so that when he bangs a 14-year-old, like, no, she was really mature. She looked 18. It's amazing how they accidentally tell on themselves all the time.
Yeah.
And rarely get called on it. Anyhow.
Definition doesn't bother.
Yeah, this is like that's a backscan, a very good comparison. This is like legal versus drunk driving limit. If you don't draw a line somewhere, there won't be one. Yes. There are people who they would blow a 0.02 and be fucked up because they're that much of a lightweight. Somebody could blow a 0.1 and be fine. You know, all their motor skills still seem fine.
Yeah, that we call those functional alcoholics.
Functional alcoholics. But we have to put a line in there somewhere. Like if you drink this much and you're behind the wheel, sorry, that's drunk driving.
That's how laws work. If you did it all on individual basis, nothing would ever get done. You would always have to be testing people to see if they fit within the parameters of this law. Nothing can work that way. No civilization can exist by what these people are putting forward. People like Sneako. The society cannot function. It will grind to a halt if you do that.
Some of y'all are outing yourselves as alcoholics in the chat right now. Don't drink and drive. The rest of you have fun otherwise. Anyway.
So it's not about you. Do you agree the definition of a child is somebody not physically mature?
No.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Yes.
That's fine.
No.
A child is somebody not physically mature, correct? Hold that thought.
Okay, not physically mature.
Yes. Dr. Disrespect message a physically mature 17-year-old.
No such
Again, don't know that.
thing. You can't prove it. How's the 17-year-old physically mature? They're not. So in my eyes, 18.
Do you understand what a hypothetical? Do you understand what a hypothetical is?
What do hypotheticals have to do with a real world situation?
Yeah. Do you know what a hypothetical is I give you this real thing?
Yeah, like
God,
if he had a hypothetical that matched up with what he's talking about, but there's no hypothetical here. Dr. Disrespect is said to have talked to a child who is not. We don't know whether they're physically mature or not. For all we know, it's all smoothbore down there.
And yeah, there are conditions that delay puberty as well. That is true.
Yeah.
Or maybe puberty blockers, Jack.
Yeah, maybe the kid was on puberty blockers, which means she's not physically mature. Because puberty was literally delayed. World,
she's 17, so she's no longer a child because apparently he inspected her genitals.
Well, by Sneako's definition, no child on puberty blockers or no person on puberty blockers since they were prepubescent can ever be mature because physically they're not mature down there.
All right.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry. I thought you were.
It's a physically mature 17-year-old.
Okay.
Based off your definition, an adult.
No, that's your definition.
An adult 17-year-old, correct?
Nope. No such thing as an adult 17-year-old.
Thank you. See what I mean, Jack? He's got hints of handling this well.
Yeah, he just doesn't know enough about early childhood development.
And he's not a debate bro, so
yeah.
Fighting back against that when you don't know what you're dealing with is not easy.
There's no such thing as an adult 17-year-old. That doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
That breaks your mind, Sneako, speaks volumes.
Yeah, it speaks gigabytes of your hard drive.
It really does. Also, Sneako is rather young. I think he's in his early 20s now.
Is that all
young?
It's old.
Oh yeah. He's not very old. He got his fame, I think, when he was like 13 or 14 on the internet, which probably means he was touched by people in Hollywood.
Yeah, probably.
But when you're young, you think you're a lot smarter than you are. You think you're a lot more mature than you are. And when you get to my age, you look back and you go, holy shit, I was dumb as fuck. Everybody thinks they're more mature when they're kids than they actually are because we don't want to be kids. We want to be grown-ups. And that is a dangerous thing when pedophiles exist.
Yeah.
It's another reason for that hard line, Jack. I watch a lot of murder shows in my free time now.
Oh yeah, murder porn's awesome.
I kick back and play a porn game. God damn you. I kick back and play a phone game. Usually, what's it called? Royal Rumble? Or Royal Match. Royal Match, that's what it's called. And I turn on 48 hours because they have... I love that they've started putting a lot of old TV on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I can just sit there and just watch and let it play in the background. There was one the other day. It was a 15-year-old girl who went missing. She was pregnant and wouldn't tell who the daddy was. It turned out to be her 30-year-old uncle who then killed her to keep everybody from finding out.
That sounds right. Yeah.
When you have child predators around, you have to have that line so that we can do our best to protect them. You just have to. Because kids think they're a lot older and mature than they are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially in the teenage years, you get youthful arrogance where you think you know a lot more and you can handle a lot more than you actually can. Because let's face it, you're not finished cooking yet.
You just said it exists.
I never said a 17-year-old could be an adult.
When does someone become an adult? Okay, based off. I can't believe I'm hearing this right now. I genuinely can't.
Okay. You can't believe. Do you realize he just said he can't believe that somebody's like, you shouldn't fuck 17-year-olds?
For him, that's probably true. He can't believe that because he's around people that seem to justify their own bad behavior all the time.
It's amazing. He didn't mean to say it, and he doesn't come out and say it. But that's what you're arguing right now, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't believe you think you shouldn't fuck a kid. That's so weird, man.
Okay.
It's super simple. 18 is when the maturity starts to kick in, and that's when you become the adult. That's what we've established. Anything under that, you're still a child. You could have gone through puberty.
Are you afraid of getting canceled or something? Like this is, it's like.
All right. Hey, Satsu, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Satsu?
Sneako thinks that the only reason Charlie would say you shouldn't have sex with a kid is if you're afraid of being canceled.
No, because we don't like pedos who touch kids. How about that? Maybe we just don't like people hurting children because we understand that there have been many, 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 many tests and examples and studies of how it affects children. You fucking psycho pervert.
Can you imagine being that far fucking gone that when you're talking about people raping children, you're like, are you afraid of getting canceled for supporting it? How fucking far out in the ether are you that that's where your mind goes?
That's pretty disturbing. I'm really, really worried that Sneako needs to have his hard drive checked at this point.
Right? But hey, the only reason you think that is because of the Jews.
Apparently. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. When I was growing up, I used to blow off the life lessons my dad and both grandfathers tried to give me. Here I am at 28, realizing how right they were. Oh, dude, we've all done it. Believe me, and it gets worse as you get older. Like, I am way more cynical than my dad now. Like, I was trying to talk to him today, and I was like, Dad, you don't get it. It's so much worse than that.
It's part of growing up. It really is. I mean, most of us have stories about that moment when you realize, oh shit, my parents were right. Not if you're Greta Thunberg, that's never going to happen. But most of us.
Yeah, most people who weren't raised by communists.
Okay. I jumped ahead a little bit because I do want to get away from their circular argument here and try to find where he blames the Jews because it's funny as shit.
God, these people
everything I take in from the world and process up in here.
Okay. 10 years ago, did you believe that a child can go through transgender therapy? Can they cut their penis off?
10 years ago, I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't unaware of it. And then when I learned about it, I formed my own morality on it based on everything I saw, read, came to my own conclusions.
Okay. If I told you when you were a kid that it was okay legally and morally to cut your dick off, would you agree?
Like, what do you mean? Would I do it, or would I say that that's okay?
Would you say that that's okay?
I'd have no idea on how to even process something like that. I'm a fucking child.
How old are you now?
29.
Okay. When you were 10 years ago, like, and you had heard about it, because this was still bubbling. There was, I think Caitlyn Jenner was first popping up. This was like the talk of the town. If I told you 10 years ago, try to remember that Trump was running for president, 2014. What's happened? Like,
I know this is a minor thing to criticize here, But if somebody tells you Trump was running in 2014, it's okay to stop listening to him at that point.
Yeah, that's true. Also, you said it's a minor thing, which has been the whole discussion. So,
well, Obama's still in office, right? I tell you, it's okay to cut kids' penises off. You saying that's cool?
So 10 years ago?
Yeah.
I'd say let me look into it, and probably if it's a decision they came to with professionals and their family, I'd say yeah. I'd say you have the entire. I'd say you have the right to make that decision for yourself. Yeah.
And this is where Charlie goes into the weeds. If you can't agree to marry as a child, how are you mature enough at all? This is another one of those, we need a line, Jack. Because it is very easy to convince kids to do stupid shit or for them to grab onto something that's not real and run with it.
Yeah. Well, kids have very short-term thinking. That even goes it gets better as you get older, but you really don't stop having that more sense of immediate gratification until you're in your mid-20s for most people.
I don't even know how to get through to like the people like you sometimes. Why? Because why is it okay? Why? Okay, I'm not trying to be. Why do you think a kid can consent to that, but they can't consent to marriage?
Which is unfortunately a good point for Sneako there. And this is the problem with people who agree with this ideology of trans kids know exactly what they want and we should respect their opinion. They're dumb. It is exactly the same reason that they shouldn't be allowed to get married, because they're children. And
because they're cognitively immature.
Yeah, they're dumb. All right. Whew.
Why can a kid consent?
We're going in circles. I just said when it comes to a marriage, it's no longer just a personal decision. It's not. You take on a whole.
We've also established that a transgender surgery is also not a personal decision.
It is. It is a decision you are making.
You're also saying "I do" to the marriage, which is a personal decision.
And then you are bringing in an entirely new family dynamic from this adult.
And why?
I get the point Charlie's trying to make there. It's just a really bad point. The reason we don't let children get married isn't because now there's a spouse involved. It's because they're not mature enough to handle it. They don't know what decision it is they're making. This is why he's getting rightful criticism, Jack. I just think he should get credit for the parts he gets right, too.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why does that then make it wrong? Because other people are involved.
Because this is an adult. This is a predator who is coming into your life.
Charlie, listen to me here. Let's say a 14-year-old gets married, and then next year they decide, I made a mistake. We have legal remedies to fix that. You could get divorced at 15. You can't put your dick back on. You can't come back a year later and go, actually, I need my testicles. I didn't realize those were going to be necessary. I do not understand. Both of the philosophies right here are so fucking ass backwards and give way too much credit to children.
Yeah. Children are stupid. They make poor decisions because they're dumb. They have very limited life experience. They aren't cognitively capable of understanding consequences or long-term ramifications. That's why we don't allow them to make decisions. They make them poorly. They'll fall for magic beans.
And of the two, the one that is reversible here is actually the marriage, unless you're in, a Muslim culture where they'll stone you to death.
Yeah.
The logical male, thank you. I would love to ask both Sneako and Charlie, is it okay for little girls to have a facelift and breast augmentation? when you ask that question, you have to be very careful with it. I do not believe in cosmetic beautifying of children.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
But I did have a friend in high school who had her breast reduced because they were so big they were causing back pain. With reduced breast, she was still rocking double D's.
Yeah, they usually are. And
it's cosmetic surgery to people who get horribly disfigured, and that's fine. If it is for an actual medical reason, I have no issue with it. For aesthetic reasons, and I realize you can say that with deformities, like taking a giant mass off somebody's face, but I'm talking about if you're just getting a cuter little nose, no, we shouldn't be doing that to kids. Anyhow, that's medical, not cosmetic, though. Again, with something like what's it called when the lift is that a hair lift when it's pulled up a little bit and it's all funky looking?
Maybe.
I forget what it's called, but people, get some plastic surgery to make that look more normal. That's fine. I'm fine with that. If you're doing it because my nose is a little bit too big, no. Anyhow,
a predator?
Yeah, if you are marrying an adult as a child, that's a predator.
The adult.
Okay, and it's not predatory for the doctor to lure a kid into an office and cut his penis off.
Oh, he's luring kids into the office now.
Yeah, there's advertisements. Chris Tyson from maybe a kid saw your collab with Mr. Beast. He got inspired by Chris Tyson. He gets lured in because Chris Tyson.
Maybe a 24-year-old watched your streams like, oh, you know what? This 15-year-old's pretty mature. I'm going to go ahead and start trying to talk to them. Do you think that's cool?
No, that's not cool. You're supposed to talk to the father before you get married.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. You have to have their dad pimp them out to you first.
If her father's not okay with it,
that's
then what
the
happened?
issue you had with that scenario.
Yeah, but
if Dr. Disrespect had just reached out to that girl's father first and be like, hey, can I hit your girl up in DMs?
Jesus Christ. How primitive. What are we in the 5th century?
He is a Muslim now, or at least last we heard.
Yeah, sorry, it's 7th century. My bad.
I mean, it fits. That's probably how Muhammad got his 6-year-old bride. Traded a donkey for her to her father. Are we not supposed to talk about that?
Probably not. They get a little bitchy about it, a little explodey.
Approach marriage, you don't just go approach a girl and that's not what Islamically is allowed. You're supposed to go to the father and supposed to see where it goes from there.
You're not supposed to have Muslims. You're not supposed to have premarital sex while a guy's licking your balls, but you did that, homie. Thank you, Zan. Hair, lip, cleft palate is medical, not cosmetic. All right. Cleft palate is different than a hair lip, though.
So that's never what I said.
24-year-old talks to the father of a 15-year-old and gets his permission. Now it's cool.
Get to the father and say, like, am I interested in marrying your physically mature, your adult daughter?
Gentlemen, if you are old school and you ask for your bride's hand in marriage from her father, don't start the conversation off with, can I marry your physically mature daughter?
Oh, that's creepy as shit, man. Somebody said that to me, I'd be like, get off my property.
I would punch him in the face. Why are you talking to me about my daughter in that manner?
So creepy.
Oh, God.
Okay. Is she okay with it?
15-year-old.
Ask the mother.
15-year-old daughter.
Get the consensus. Yes. And if he's okay with it, she's okay with it. I think that's fine. That's fine.
What? A 24-year-old banging a 15-year-old is fine as long as daddy thinks it's okay.
So pedophile networks were just going to be pimping their kids out to other pedos, swapping brides.
This is absolutely insane.
Like that, don't see how we'll ever see eye to eye on that. Like, to me, that is the most alarming shit.
Thank you.
To even view someone of that age as physically mature is concerning. Or like the potential to be physically mature at 15 is very concerning.
Then you think
So,
no,
like,
then by your morality, all of human history, everybody was a pedophile.
What he's about to get into is nonsense. It is nonsense, just fucking stupid, and I'm probably going to swear a lot. Just letting you know.
In the 1800s in America, the age was 10. In the UK, 200 years ago, the age was 7. Hey,
No. Hey, Sneako. I hate to give your prophet a little bit of credit here. He married somebody at 6, and even he didn't fuck him till she was 9. In the 1800s, we had slavery too. Yeah. Here's the thing. Again, the definition of a pedophile is somebody who is attracted to prepubescent children. So even if everything Sneako just said was true, even if everything he said was true, yes, they would be pedophiles by definition if they were turned on by prepubescent children. And 10, the highest age he gave there, is prepubescent in everything except precocious puberty, which is a rare condition.
He's also trying to lay a modern perspective on times past. Back then, most kids didn't live. They died. Out of 5 kids born, 3 or 4 of them would die of dysentery or SIDS or God knows what else, just filthy conditions. And your life expectancy was like 30.
I'm actually looking this up. In 1880, the age of consent in most states was 10 or 12 years old. Where's this from? This is from Wikipedia. Oh, he went to Vouchroot.
Yeah, Wikipedia, the site that could be changed by anyone with an agenda.
With the exception of Delaware, where it was 7, this age was based on English common law from the 1500s, which assumed that girls were ready for sex once they started menstruating. Then 7 would not be the age. However, this led to inconsistent laws and public outcry when teenagers in close-in-age relationships faced severe punishment. As a result, the age of consent was raised across the U.S. in the late 19th and early 20th century. By 1920, 26 states had raised the age to 18. I really hate the historical arguments on any matter. If there's something you're comparing it to, fine, that makes sense. But you also have to look at things like life expectancy back then, Jack.
Yeah. Well, conditions, medical advancement, life expectancy is a major one for that. But yeah, it was a different time with different standards because they knew different things. They weren't as well educated on development. They weren't educated on nutrition. There's a lot of things that go into how they lived and why. They also didn't drive any cars. Nobody had a driver's license in the 18th century. Maybe we should go for that too.
Yeah, 100%.
So everybody,
7 and 10-year-olds,
so everybody in human history was a pedophile up until 10 years ago.
No, because not everybody married 10-year-olds, you fucking retard. Here's the thing. Even if you're going with, well, the age of consent was 10, that doesn't mean everybody who got married or had sex was banging 10-year-olds, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah, not everybody married that. Plus, there was like the dowry, and they had to learn certain skills, sewing, cooking, that sort of thing. You didn't want just some rando. So that's why people waited. There was a public outcry about those ages.
10 years ago is pretty arbitrary.
What is it, 50 years ago, or whenever the feminism movement started? For thousands of years, Moise,
past this.
For thousands of years, everybody was a pedophile up until 50 years ago when the age of consent was divided.
Again, this is nonsensical. It is just nonsensical. Most of these people were not marrying prepubescent children. That is not accurate. It is just bullshit. That it was Jack, states today, several states still have 16 as the age of consent.
Yeah.
The majority of people in those states aren't getting married at 16.
You know what else will happen if you're banging the 16-year-old? CPS will have a file on you. You can be charged with statutory rape if the parents press charges. If they don't, it doesn't matter. They could be like, okay, but we're still putting your name on a list because you're creepy as shit. Real quickly. Thank you, Keldrick. Kids, you're both just awful. There's that too.
And also, people used to eat people more often, like cannibals. What, you're going to go on like cannibals? Like, it's not like things were great back then. It's not like we had it all figured out back then. Yeah, there was a lot of bad shit.
But in successful.
And that is a really good point. There's a lot of shit that used to be that isn't now, and that's a good thing.
Times change with education and perspective and advancements.
At the time, sorry.
No, go ahead.
At the time he's talking about, the 1900s, early 1900s, because we were both born in the 1900s.
Yes.
You're talking about the early part before the age of consent is raised everywhere. The average lifespan was mid-30s, 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the reason that changed is because we got smarter about medicine and keeping children alive longer.
Yeah, we started to understand germ theory. That changed the entire world.
Yeah.
Because you started to understand, if I don't wash my hands, I could get sick. So they're arguing out of a point of ignorance over historical literacy.
Yeah.
It's very, very stupid.
Societies like the UK is a Christian country, was a Christian country in the 1800s. The United States was a Christian country in the 1800s, and all societies in Greece and the Roman Empire, successful societies that colonized, that thrived, that had lots of families, that invented things. All those people were pedophiles.
If they were banging children, yes.
Yeah, Dark Resurrect makes a really good point too. A lot of these marriages at young ages were arranged marriages for nobility. Yes. They weren't commoners. They were nobles trying to strengthen their family ties. So
and not just nobility.
Yeah, the marriages may not have even taken place when those kids were that age, but they were committed to them. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Really needs to be pointed out that a lot of the marriages of young ages was also of other people of young ages.
Yep.
Yeah, they would arrange marriage for 2 10-year-olds and say, you guys are married now. Go play in the yard.
Yeah. The notions that historically everybody was just out there banging little kids is stupid.
It's totally historically illiterate. These people are dumb. Look, I like Charlie overall. I think his videos are pretty interesting, but he's very ignorant on any of these topics they're talking about. And Sneako is a fucking idiot.
I will give Charlie, at least he did go, yeah, they were pedophiles.
Yeah, he's consistent.
Anybody who was banging a 10-year-old, yes, that is a pedophile. Whether it was in the 1800s, the 1900s, the 800s, they were banging kids. Yes, pedophile.
Yeah.
Brother, yeah, if they're having sex with 7 and 10-year-olds, 100%, yes.
Okay, but not even if they were enacting upon it, if they believed in it.
By your own definition, they were children and under the age of puberty. So by your own definition, they're fucking pedophiles. What the fuck?
Yeah, we're talking about people that aren't mature.
And this is why laws and morality are not the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it's the belief too. It's belief.
Yes.
So everybody in human history was a pedophile up until 50 years ago.
If they subscribe
the age of consent in the United States started going up. By the 20s, more than half the states had 18 as their age of consent.
Which means some states had them before that too. So you're talking like probably the 1880s, 1890s. A lot of this stuff really was getting legislated. So yeah, Sneako's a fucking idiot, and he's being very disingenuous with his argument here.
To the belief that it was okay to do that, yeah,
which they did.
People evolved to recognize how bad that is.
They did.
Like if you look back on it retroactively, that is a horrible thing.
So everybody
look back on
everybody in the UK
is a bad thing, and incest is a bad thing. Like we would look back on these things and be like, hey, that was bad. Mm-hmm. Like we know that's bad now.
Yeah, the next step
people evolve.
I want to point this out and for you to remember this, because the next step for this thing where they cut off penises and take puberty blockers, the next step is normalizing incest. The next step is normalizing bestiality. People like Chris
he skipped a step there.
What, Sneako? I don't believe it.
Which step did he skip? Oh yeah, normalizing pedophilia, you fucking asshole. He's right in where this is all headed. It is all to normalize whatever sexual degeneracy you want to do. He's right on that, but he skips the step that, yeah, it's what you're doing right now, asshole.
Wait, does he want to bang his sister or something?
I think he wants to bang his sister and her dog.
Already dressing.
I don't know if he has a sister. She might be too old for him now.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Biden here.
Up like wolves, already dressing up like dogs. They're walking around in public. They go to gay pride parades with these cat ears. They meow, they bark, they do these things. They believe they're dogs. A lot of these people, they accept them. They call them she-wolves, she-this, all this stuff. They identify as a wolf. Because if you can believe and identify that I'm a woman now, if I believe it, why can I not be a wolf? That's the next step.
You're literally talking about identifying children as adults, asshole. I identify her as an adult. I can put my wiener in it.
Fucking disgusting, man.
If the FBI does not have a copy of this and it is not looking deeply into his hard drive, there is something seriously wrong.
He probably got all that stuff on his hard drive from the FBI.
Then the next step is incest. These things should not be allowed. We should hold down something. There should be something that's consistent. The only thing that's consistent throughout history that makes sense is God. It has to go back to something consistent.
Wait. He's being inconsistent here, because what if that girl is at the age of majority and wants to bang her dad?
Yeah.
What if she's mature enough for her to make these decisions? Isn't that his entire point? Like, she's mature enough, she can make these decisions.
And the idea that God has been consistent, whichever God you're believing in, is just nonsensical.
Even God has changed his mind. If you're a Christian, you believe that the God of the Old Testament decided to be more loving because he would just nuke entire cities.
The whole world at one point, Jack.
Yeah, he flooded the whole planet, and then he was like, Sodom and Gomorrah, boom, dropping a sun on them like they're Nagasaki.
Even in that, because he's Muslim, right? So we can put Christianity aside. If you read the Quran and stuff, you shouldn't be talking with Charlie right now. You should be trying to kill him. He's an infidel.
Yeah, he's a filthy infidel. You're allowed to lie to an infidel, by the way.
I do not think Sneako's lying about wanting to bang kids.
I don't either, but he's allowed to. He's allowed to because,
because Muhammad did.
Yeah,
I will give him that. He is being consistent with his faith.
Yeah.
Real, or else it's ever adapting and ever changing. Because 200 years ago, I really want you to remember this. In the 1800s in the UK, the judge that laid down the law in the UK said that the marriage for a woman is the age of 7. That's what they said, and everybody abided by that. Everybody believed in it. The society thrived. Everybody was okay. Nobody admonished that.
They didn't thrive because people were banging 7-year-olds. You fucking pervert. One judge made bad decision. That doesn't mean that everybody accepted it as a good decision or abided by it. Oh, I guess you gotta go marry a 7-year-old now. Idiot.
A judge deciding that it was okay for people to bang 7-year-olds, which is fucking gross, doesn't mean everybody was doing it. That is so nonsensical. That's like saying since the Supreme Court decided it's okay to burn flags, everybody in America is burning American flags. That's fucking retarded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, abortion must be completely over because remember the Dobbs decision just put the kibosh on that shit.
And before that, when Roe was the law of the land, nobody had babies because abortion was legal, so everybody had abortions. No kid born for 50 fucking years.
No native citizen was born after that. They were all aborted. I mean, the coat hanger industry just exploded. It was a whole thing. Real quick though, thank you, Travis Gardner. These two have made me dumber. I'm feeling the same way. I feel that way every time we talk about Sneako. I feel dumber.
Oh God, yeah.
And then up until now, you're saying all these people were pedophiles. These are people that should be in jail.
The ones who were banging 7-year-olds were pedophiles. How is that at all? By your own definition of what a pedophile is, somebody who fucks children. Your definition of children, somebody who hasn't been through puberty. 7-year-olds typically have not been through puberty. By your own fucking definition, they were pedophiles. Why? Are you afraid to get canceled for saying that? Who is he defending here? Seriously.
Pedophiles. Starting to think. I mean,
outside of certain religious sects, can you point to the people who were all marrying 7-year-olds?
I mean,
but they thrived because they were banging 7-year-olds. All right, again, by your own logic, this has been going on for thousands of years. How come 2,000 years ago we aren't where we are now? Why did it take, what is the estimation of the human race? 300,000 years?
Yeah.
Something like that. Why did it take 300,000 years of banging kids for us to finally get to where we can, instantaneously send messages across the world?
I bet that Sneako thinks that banging kids makes you smarter or something.
And they thrived. Not the 7-year-old.
Yeah. Look at the Muslim world. Look how much it's thrived in the past 1,300 years.
Yeah.
It's really gone so far. I mean, it's such a bastion of culture. And don't give me the post-Byzantine conquest thing. We're like, oh, they taught us algebra. No, a lot of the stuff they are gifted with having created, they actually preserved from taking over other places, especially the Byzantines. So don't give me that shit. That's historically illiterate too.
Thank you, JB, who says Oedipus Rex says otherwise. Fuck, we're wrong with the Greeks, huh? Oh,
Greeks are
they're disgusting, though. Horrible people. They should be admonished. If they were all in jail, there would be nothing going on. This is why you can't follow the ever-adapting morality.
I will give you that if they arrested people who were banging, say, I don't know, 9-year-olds, say 1,300 years ago, there would have been the end of a certain civilization as it was taking off. I will give you that. And I think the world would have been better off if Muhammad had been put in jail.
Yeah.
It can't change every 10 years or one decade.
It's not changing.
You can cut your dick off, and the next decade you can't. You can't adapt this all the time. There needs to be something consistent.
So you want to consistently bang children? That's fucked up.
Okay. Charlie's saying we need to make it 18, the end. And you're saying we need to go on a case-by-case basis as long as her daddy says it's okay. Which one of those is consistent? I'm not even sure what I'm listening to. How do you make the argument that on a case-by-case basis, we're going to decide whether or not you can bang kids? And in this case, remember, he's right now arguing that 7 and 10-year-old age of consent was fine, which is 100% pedophilia.
Yeah, that's gross. Stop it.
That's what he's arguing right now when he says it needs to stay consistent. His example was 7 and 10-year-olds. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, a lot. Like, there seems to be a lot wrong with him. He is not a smart man.
I'm starting to wonder if he's ever seen a pubic hair or developed titty on a girl?
Oh, that's a good question. Real quick, I got a couple things here. Thank you, Evolved Potato. 200 years ago, a judge in England didn't decide 7 was the right age. English common law for hundreds of years was 10 to 12. I have no idea where he got 7 from. He probably just made it up. Either that or he saw it on Wikipedia.
It's from that Wikipedia article that I read just a little bit ago.
Just because it's on Wikipedia doesn't make it true. People take stuff out of context and lie on there all the time.
That article says that the age of consent in the U.S. was 10 based on the English common law that said it was 7. Yeah. Anyway. It said it was based on the English common law and then said, but it has that, and Delaware had it at 7.
Real quick, thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. To be a history nut, the Greeks and Romans did have laws and social stigma for men who slept with children. In Rome, the punishment was exile, and the Greeks sentenced you to the salt mines. And
exile from Rome is not a minor thing. It's not like being kicked out of Seattle and you just go to Portland.
Yeah, the Roman Empire was huge, and you get thrown out of that, you're getting tossed into the savage lands.
Yeah, you're dying.
Yeah, you're absolutely going to die.
Faithless said he was reading Wikipedo. It's amazing how these people make up their history, though. Again, just because the age of consent was that does not mean most people were doing that or even approved of it. How do you think it ever got changed if everybody approved of it, dickhead?
It all has to go back to God.
Go ahead.
Also, with the Romans, it was much more of a caste system, like you see in like India more recently, and in Japan. There are a lot of these places that they're referencing had caste systems where the people on the low end, didn't matter what they did, you could kill them if you wanted it without repercussion if you were a high enough class. So that we don't do that anymore either. They got rid of most of those around the world. So yeah, fuck off with your like, well, it worked for thousands of years. Yeah, so did leeching, and that has limited applications in real life.
If it doesn't, then you're going to let the government control that. And the government right now, they're controlled by Zionists. I don't know if you've seen that in Yahoo.
What?
I told you it was coming.
You can't adapt this all the time. There needs to be something consistent. It all has to go back to God. If it doesn't, then you're going to let the government control that. And the government right now, they're controlled by Zionists. I don't know if you've seen Netanyahu right now. Netanyahu just walked into Congress and he told them all, oh, 29/11s, we need more money. We need more money to continue bombing Palestine over and over again. Everybody got up and clapped. Everybody in the government, all the people that control the age of consent, that say that 16 is okay, that say that.
By the way, there is no federal age of consent law.
No, and pretty sure Netanyahu isn't the Biden whisperer. I might be wrong, but
the government that clapped for Netanyahu, they're a bunch of Jews who decided you can't bang kids. Is that not the most Muslim argument you've ever heard in your life?
Yeah, wasn't Netanyahu invited? Like,
yes,
he didn't just show up and demand an audience.
Since he brought it up, for the record, fuck Palestine. I agree with you, Mr. E. Absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
That Romeo and Juliet, that 18's okay. They also think that bombing innocent civilians in Gaza is okay.
Romeo and Juliet was a play, not a historical reference point.
I mean, they do have what they call the Romeo and Juliet laws. I mean,
yeah, but they're named after the play. It's the play did not. That was not an actual.
And for the record, they're not actually named that. It's kind of like the "Don't Say Gay" bill. It's not actually called the "Don't Say Gay" bill.
Yeah, it's just the colloquialism.
Colloquially, it's Romeo and Juliet laws. But those damn Jews are trying to keep you from banging kids. Is the most Muslim thing ever.
Yeah, and
oh fuck.
Look, dude, that is not an argument. That's just saying something nice about the Jews. They don't want you raping children. Oh, those horrible bastards. What are you talking about? For
those of you who don't know what Romeo and Juliet laws are, these are laws that allow it so that if you're within a certain age. It's usually 2 to 4 years of the person you're with. It's not considered illegal. And this is mostly based around the idea that, like, hey, you're going to school with this girl. You were both in high school together. She's 2 years younger than you. You have a birthday. You're now 18. No, it's not a crime that you're still dating the girl you were dating for 2 years before that. But even then, we have cutoffs with it. It's usually like 4 years and up to the age of, I think, 22. You have to be within 4 years of them, and after 22, that goes away. It's not like, hey, I'm 23, I can still bang her. No, sorry, you shouldn't. That's a weird difference you got going on there, homie.
Yeah, it varies by state, but that's generally the parameter.
Cannot follow the government for a consistent set of morality. They are
only fair.
Followed by greed. All they believe in is money. All they believe in is personal gain. These are corrupt people who don't.
Okay,
I mostly about those people again.
He is. I mostly agree that you can't set your morality based on the government, but it is what we set our legal system by. The government makes that up. And just because a whole bunch of these people would sell their own mother for some money doesn't mean everything they've done is wrong.
Yeah.
Saying you can't bang kids, which again is not Congress, that's in the states. That's why there are different ages of consent throughout the United States.
What?
Even if Jews controlled every state and they were like, you can't bang kids, give me money. The can't bang kids part is still right. It doesn't change because they're Jews and want money, okay?
Don't have their best interest because all humans are flawed. I'm flawed. You're flawed.
From the sounds of it, you're criminally flawed. From what we've been hearing, you're not flawed, homie. You need to be pounded in the ass prison. Flawed isn't, I think it's okay to bang 10-year-olds. That's criminal. Jesus fuck, man. Why are we still having the Amos Yee argument?
Because there's a lot of people that want to bang kids on the internet, apparently.
Thank you, Keldrig. If the goal is to turn opinions against Jews, Sneako's doing a great job of improving my opinion of Jews. Well played indeed. Okay, here we go.
We've seen our flaws. We all know them. The only thing that's not flawed is God. God is the perfect being, the perfect supreme being that we have to follow. Nothing else can give us morality.
Okay, well, we have to prove God exists first then. How about that?
Nothing else can give us morality. So atheists and agnostics have no morality. None.
No, none at all. They depend on the lawgiver to hand them the scrolls and tablets that function for Ape City, which I assume was you. I saw Planet of the Apes recently, so I'm assuming this is how it's done.
Which god, Sneako? I guess we should start there, right?
Maybe the moon god he worships. Oh, I don't know.
The god who, according to your prophet, is okay with you raping a man raping a man's wife in front of him as long as you beat him in battle. That one?
Yeah.
Because that is a really weird morality you got from your god there, homie. I don't believe Jack, so apparently I have no morality.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If you're not a Muslim, then your thoughts don't count on this, I guess.
Not just not a Muslim. If you don't believe in a god, you can't have any morals.
Yeah, clearly.
I
mean, morals are strictly for the believers, not the dirty heathens.
And if the Jews are the one who are all making it so we don't think it's okay to bang children, that is still coming from their God, which makes it moral.
Yeah, yeah. So it would again be fractional based on where you live. The Puritans had a much stricter interpretation of what God was telling them to do. So all of like New England could only abide by puritanical law.
And even within each denomination of the Abrahamic religions, there are different sects of Jews, different sects of Christians, different sects of Muslims that don't. You have Muslims killing each other because they disagree about what their good book means. Which one of them is right?
Shut up. You're thinking too much.
Dr. Sean Wright Excel Esquire, thank you so much. I need a supernatural sky daddy to be a decent person. All terrible Christians. Or in this case, a terrible Muslim. Actually, yeah, he is a terrible Muslim. He's a heathen by their own standards. By strict scripture, you should have been stoned to death, motherfucker.
He probably would have been killed by now because of all his like fornication and any drugs he uses, if he drinks, that sort of thing.
You had a dude's nose on your nutsack, man. I'm fairly certain that's not in the Quran is okay. I'm just saying you can bang a 7-year-old, but not another dude. Your God has weird morality, man.
There was a lot in there. Again, we can follow God, but there needs to be an agreed upon consistency, which you don't provide.
I am.
Which was the whole subject.
The agreed upon consistency is physical maturity.
Muhammad's bride was 6. This is your prophet, motherfucker. His wife was 6.
But she was so physically mature. Gross.
He banged her when she was 9.
She still played with dolls.
How do you square that circle? That only God is moral, yet the prophet that you profess to believe in, who gives you your morality, was banging somebody you just said is too young to be banging.
Look, monkey, if you're not careful, Sneako will explode all over you.
No, I'm not a 4-year-old girl.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, the hypocrisy knows no bounds, right?
Cryptic, thank you. I keep thinking of Team America, Durka, indeed. Atheist societies always turn dystopian. Yeah, and there is an argument to be made that you need that we've talked about this before with the loss of religion in our country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Christian, but I understand the importance of it, because with no set moral compass, you're gonna have people like Sneako who come in and are like, no, it's perfectly fine to bang 9-year-olds as long as they've been through puberty. And you'll have a whole bunch of people who don't have a God who's telling them that. It was Thomas Jefferson that said the greatest threats to individual liberty are religion and government. And the reason for that is because both of them are used to control people. And without some control, which is what we're talking about with religious morality, people will do whatever the fuck they want. And that is not good for long-term success, especially when you're out there preaching not even individuality, but fuck everything. Yeah, we've got, especially once you start introducing nihilism to it. Yeah, I agree with the problem of societies without, but can you show me how many societies of a religious nature are still around for 1,000 years?
I mean, you're talking like the Holy Roman Empire and the Ottoman Empire, and that's about it. And even they didn't last that long. Yeah.
They tend to fall and are rebuilt to something else.
Yeah.
But I get your point. I really do. And I don't know the answer there because as somebody who's not religious, I don't know other than legally, Jack, to go like, okay, this is fine, this is not. And when you have people like TEDx who put a chick up there like, we really need to be nice to pedophiles. Ugh. If you don't have that set religious morality, having the intellectual argument, look at what we're watching right now. What little intelligence is in this argument is completely lost by all the nonsensical shit.
Yeah, and he's using religion as a crutch to attack his opponent because that's the only argument he's really got.
Mm-hmm.
Is some arbitrary historical nonsense from a totally different time frame and period than what we live in, and mostly relying on God now as an excuse. Well, we need God to decide that, and the God he worships accepts this sort of behavior.
Johnny Hellcat, thank you. I've been going to my wife's Christian church, and the lady who sits behind us goes on several unhinged rants about the Catholics whenever she gets a chance. I've been Catholic since I was 12. Yeah. Are you going to a Protestant church?
Wow. Don't your feet catch on fire for that?
That's not a number, though. Like, you can't actually calculate physical.
I don't think I'm going to get through to you that. But what you don't understand is that something that's consistent is
how do you
physical maturity is consistent.
Your prophet banged a 9-year-old.
Yeah, physical maturity is not consistent.
It's not. No, everybody matures at a different rate.
Yeah,
it's literally the definition of inconsistent, homie.
That's something that's consistent.
What does it look like? What does it look like?
Post-puberty. That's it.
What does that look like? What does that look like?
What does an adult look like? Looks like me. Looks like you.
Yeah.
We went through puberty. I know you're an adult.
Sneako, we have you on video from the time you're like 13. You've changed drastically since then.
Yeah.
And just generally speaking, about 13 is when most of us go through puberty. Are you telling me you have not changed at all since you were 13? Because we have video evidence. Jack, I couldn't grow a decent beard till I was like 22.
I could do it at 15. So
I went through puberty for me started late 12 into 13.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm immature now, so, but I'm fully physically developed, ladies. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you've went through puberty. I know I'm an adult because I went through puberty. I see a child. I know that's a child. That's a child who's not went through puberty yet.
It bothers me that he said he can look at them and tell if they've gone through puberty.
Yeah, I'm a little creeped out by that.
I had a friend in high school, Jack. She'd clearly gone through puberty. She'd been pregnant before and had an abortion.
Whoa.
She had no breasts, like none. If you saw her in her bathing suit, you would never believe that the puberty fairy had ever visited her. The idea that you can just look at somebody and go, oh, they've been through puberty. That is fucking scary, dude. Especially knowing that most of this asshole's fans are children.
That's a kid. Very aware. It's very simple.
But you said like a 12-year-old could be physically mature. Like you said,
they're mostly not. They're mostly not. And even a child that's now become an adult at 13, 12, 13, something like that, would I think that they're mentally ready? I personally, most of the time, I would not think so.
That's a little sus.
Yeah, most of the time? The fuck do you mean by that?
Most of the time, that implies that you have experience with some who are. That's, again, disturbing, Sneako.
It's a little weird.
If anybody knows anyone in the FBI, could you please send them this Sneako versus Charlie debate? It's on Rumble.
Would their parents think that child is mentally ready? Most of the time, I wouldn't think so. I don't think the parents would want that for a kid 12. I think they would.
Most of the time, a parent wouldn't think their 12-year-old is ready to have sex with you.
What do you mean most of the time?
Most of the time. It doesn't matter. It's not consistent. Most of the time is not consistent language. He's defeating himself. I don't know how you have these arguments and it doesn't hit you in the brain and go, oh, fuck, damn. Jesus. Most of the time, the parents wouldn't be. So you think there's people out there outside of Iran who will be like, oh, she's gone through puberty. It's okay for Sneako to bang her. Because frankly, I think those kind of parents should be in jail with you.
Yeah, a little bit. Real quick, thank you, Keldrig. The fact that Sneako doesn't burst into flames when he tells someone else you don't understand is a serious criticism. I have that with the laws of the universe. I agree, Keldrig. There should be some law of thermodynamics that somebody this dumb saying you don't understand. Yeah, I have a real problem with that.
His whole argument is literally for inconsistency while arguing you have to be consistent. I don't understand. I really don't. You know why? The goddamn Jews brainwashed me.
Apparently.
Jews! How dare you?
That is so lazy to go to the Jews and blame them.
It really is.
I mean, come on. I think we've all tried that horse, for centuries. Let it go. It's not the Jews. They're not that powerful. You just think you're giving them more power than they have.
You know what? If you're tired of how much power the Jews have, stop fucking children so they can grow up normal, get smart, and compete.
Yeah.
To develop more, because you should follow the morality of the parents. The parents are going to care for that kid. Wait
a second.
Morality.
Jack, was he not just arguing? Did he not just bring up for his own argument mutilation of children's genitals?
Yes.
How many videos and stories have we covered where it's the fucking parent who's okay with it?
Well, female genital mutilation is still a problem in the Muslim world, where they basically just cut off a woman's clitoris. But we don't talk about that. That's gender affirming care now.
You can't make the argument that the parents are always going to make the best decision. They're the ones who are going to make the good decisions for the kids, when you've literally just brought up something that is only happening because of the parents.
Thank you, David Wooderson, who says, quoting a movie, I see this Sneako fella's pretty wise and taking my motto by heart. I keep getting older and they keep staying the same age. That's a Matthew McConaughey quote from a movie.
Black Romeo says, see, he did it again. This idiot can't keep consistent. No, he can't, because his argument is stupid.
Way more than the government. Why are you going to let the government be in charge of your kids? The government's saying it's okay to cut the kids' dicks off.
So are the parents, dickhead.
Yeah. The parents control that right now, so.
Dangerous Spaces, thank you. Been watching for like 5 minutes, and Sneako comes across as someone who needs a punch in the face. Oh, wait, by the way, some of us grow less of a beard and more of a homeless look / membership to ISIS. Once my beard did finally start growing, the damn thing won't stop, and I spend most of my time looking homeless.
Yeah, my problem is if I shave, I look very young, or my face looks fat.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have the beard, I look really old. So I try and keep like the 5 o'clock shadow look, and it doesn't really work. It's that weird halfway ground. Thankfully, it looks better than JD Vance. So
I actually, as long as I clean up my neck, it doesn't look too bad, no matter how long I let it get. But I'm so lazy, I don't even clean up my neck most of the time. They're like, fuck it.
Well, who are you going to go out and see? Are you running around?
Well, I should still try to look nice for my wife.
Maybe and she likes the scruffy look.
The only reason I don't do it for other people, I do it for her. Every so often I'll look in the mirror and go, oh, she deserves better than this. And start shaving it down.
Well, it's nice to know the minimum is still there within you.
Yes.
To say, no, this is going to harm it. You're not going to do it. Clearly, it's going to be harmed. The parents are the one that are going to care about the kid way more than anybody in charge. All these Zionists that get in front of the Congress.
Those goddamn Jews. Hey, Sneako, you know Jews have kids, right?
Why would the Jews want to keep people from having children and banging kids? Like, this is some grand conspiracy to stop people from molesting children? That's a conspiracy I'm willing to commit to. No, no, Sneako, no touching the kiddies.
If there's any Jews in the audience at your next meeting, please let them all know that Monkey is on board with not fucking children. I will help advance that conspiracy as much as necessary.
Right? Like, bring it up at the local subcommittee meetings and push it up through the ranks. Because, no touching the children. We're all on board. I guess we're apparently fighting the entire Muslim world for this one, if Sneako's any representative.
I love that he's trying to make it sound bad that Jews don't want to bang kids. The
mental gymnastics required here are a bit beyond my capability.
Is he trying to give them positive press? Did he become Jewish and not tell anyone? Because
I think so.
Guy, not wanting people to bang children isn't a bad thing. I know your prophet makes you confused by that, but seriously.
Yeah, it's not really the flex you think you're doing. Real quickly, though, thank you, Cryptic. You should grow a neck beard. I'm going to pass. Thank you, though.
And my wife doesn't like the scruffy look. She does like the beard and mustache, though, because I do look like a kid when I shave. I look like an old child. It's disturbing. I look like somebody Sneako wants to fuck.
You should be careful then.
Sorry, that's actually Fuentes. How fucked is your life that you're the Muslim Fuentes? Evolved potato. Thank you so much. Come on, Monk. Lady Monkey chose you. That means she doesn't have standards that you need to keep up with. That's a fair point. Hey, I've said many times I am the beneficiary of her low standards, dude.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's neither here nor there. Again,
who should take care of a child? The parents or the government?
Absolutely.
Apparently, their husband.
Their dad. Their dad until they turn 9, and then their husband. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Fucking hell.
Thank you, Kanye West. Yo, Sneako, I'm really happy you're on the Jews are bad train now, and I'm going to let you finish, but Alex Jones had one of the best Jewish question debates of all time. Didn't he do that recently? I didn't watch it. I saw a headline about it.
The government should not have a say in how people live their lives. Like, I don't think they should be intruding into people's personal freedoms to make the decisions.
But then you should let go of the age of consent.
No, because that one is more than the government. That is a societal agreed upon standard.
But it's not societal agreed upon. We've established that already.
For the majority of sensible people, it is.
For sensible people, but not in any states. Not the majority of the United States, not the majority of Europe, not the majority of the world.
Even in those cases, you're talking about people who agreed because all of them have age of consent laws. They just don't agree on what that age should be. You're literally making the argument that a whole bunch of people agreed and then a whole bunch of other people disagreed, but still set their own standard, you dumbass.
You're making that up. The sensible people that you're talking about that are afraid to talk about precisely.
Are you going to go fuck a 16-year-old?
You said this again, but
no,
you're not. You're not.
The question is, the answer is no.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And you know what? You're probably right. He's not going to go fuck a 16-year-old. Given this, he's going to go bang a 14-year-old. I've said it many times, Jack. Listen when these people tell you who they are. Nobody arguing to lower the age of consent is doing it because they don't want to fuck a child.
You're not seeing it clearly.
You know that because it's not good to do that. Mm-hmm. But you would for an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old. Like you've made that clear. Like you also recognize that. It's more than a government thing. You also abide by it.
Okay.
Because it is an agreed
if you don't, but what you're not seeing is that if you don't think that the government should intrude, that the parents should be the ones leading the child, that we should have like God-fearing people. It sounds like you agree with that.
I do agree that there's times the government should intrude. I just want to be clear on that. If somebody's molesting their child, I'm fine with the government coming in and saying you can't do that. This idea that parents get to make all the decisions is wrong, because some people are bad fucking people.
Yeah, and then you'll have people doing things that are in their best interest and not the child's, like drug addicts and perverts and degenerates.
If we should have married couples, if we want to have more children to procreate and develop a better society and have healthy children who are not harmed, then the government should not be involved. They should not say that these two people cannot get married because of the age of 18. Because that's what we're doing right now.
Situations like we did hundreds of years ago with 7 and 10-year-olds getting married. And do you think that's a problem?
That back then, that wasn't even the major problem. There were more. Like,
do you think it's a problem?
There were.
He's trying to dodge that answer.
That wasn't even a major problem. He didn't ask you if it was the worst problem of the day. He asked you if it was a problem. Goddamn. I'm having one of those tell me you want to fuck children without telling me you want to fuck children moments.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from on that one. He's being a bit evasive, I would say.
Much more during that time, it was not a problem.
Do you think it's a problem now? If we go back to that,
now it's a problem. You know how much longer it takes for people to go through puberty and physically mature now because of what the fluoride they put in the water.
That's not true.
Fluoride in the water changed when puberty happens.
Yeah, it's not true at all. People are actually maturing younger now than they used to.
Yes. We have a problem with precocious puberty, which used to be a very, very rare thing, is less rare now. It's still very rare, but we do have a big problem with it, and nobody is quite sure what is causing it.
Well, I mean, the nutritional standards, things like that. We're also a lot taller than we used to be.
Yeah. Hey, you made teeth better, and that's... That slowed down puberty. Oh, gee, he can't really be this dumb, can he?
Yes, he can. He can absolutely be this stupid.
It bothers me that people this dumb are real.
I know.
You expect them to be the side character on a sitcom from the 80s?
Yeah, the like crazy stupid conspiracy nut who talks about fluoride in the water. That was always like tinfoil hat crowd stuff.
Charlie giving him so much credit, he for sure is going to get with a kid. Yeah. Now, somebody got upset earlier when I said nobody arguing for lowering age of consent doesn't want to bang a kid. Let me be clear when I say this. The people who are very vocal about it, if you have a one-off discussion about, maybe 16 is the line instead of 18, I disagree with you, but you have an academic... These people are passionate about it. These are people who want to be known as the guy who defends that shit. That's somebody who's going to bang a kid. I told everybody this with Amos Yee, and they're like, no, he's just having the academic argument. Bullshit.
No, he wasn't.
Because the media that we consume, because of the TikTok brain people are maturing a lot later than they used to. Back then, adult
people think it's a problem.
Wait. I'm going to let that play in its entirety, Jack. Hang on.
Okay.
Problem now, if we go back to that.
Now it's you know how much longer it takes for people to go through puberty and physically mature now because of what the fluoride they put in the water, because the media that we consume, because of the TikTok brain people are maturing a lot later.
People are having later puberty because of TikTok. TikTok and the media they consume has put off puberty.
Well, so he doesn't want to bang kids because they're not mature.
I did not realize, you know what? I need to get on board the ban TikTok train if it's actually changing biology.
Yeah, I mean that would be very weird, but no, people are not emotionally mature because they're not forced to be. There's a lot of societal reasons for that. It's not because of just TikTok. That's a
the
baby
fluoride
brain
argument. Yeah, the fluoride argument is stupid, but at least you're talking about putting a chemical into the body, and we do know you can do things to change development with different chemicals.
Yeah.
Just ask the people of Flint.
True.
But watching TikTok is not going to make it so pubic hair doesn't grow, dumbass.
Yeah, it may give people stupid ideas, but it doesn't biologically change it.
TikTok is the sound of their biological clock slowing. Yes. He literally just said TikTok puts off puberty.
People
this
are
guy's
not
retarded.
maturing. Yeah, he's wrong that people are biologically changing later anyway, but he is such a fucking idiot.
Yeah, if he hadn't have specified that they were going through puberty later and was just talking about overall maturity, you can make an argument for media having some kind of effect on that.
Yeah, on their emotional maturity or intellectual maturity.
Yeah,
but not.
He specified puberty is being put off.
Yeah, that's stupid.
The only way you can make that argument is people who are convinced through social media to go get on puberty blockers. Okay.
Later than they used to. Back then, adult people used to die at 33.
Okay, he went to the dumb argument. When the life expectancy in the US was so much lower, it had nothing to do with people dying at 33. They were dying by 5. It was children who died.
Yeah, it skewed the average age down.
Yes.
Plus, you're talking about a lot of environmental things too. There was cholera, typhus, dysentery. People didn't understand germs. Yellow fever was prevalent because we didn't do clean sanitation, which is dysentery, typhus, cholera, and yellow fever usually. Standing water mostly with yellow fever. But we also didn't have antibiotics, which solved a lot of those problems, but we didn't really have that till the 40s. So there are a lot of things that affected that number. So he's being stupid and disingenuous, and his argument is full of flaws.
I've had this argument. So there was an argument recently about how young the founders were, and people were like, yes, but people died at 30. No, they did not. The vast majority of why that was skewed so far down was just children dying.
Yeah.
You had a 50-50 shot to make it to 5. You can go look that up. It was actually, I think, 48% of all children died before they were 5.
Yeah.
But if you could make it past there, you had a pretty decent chance.
Well, there were periods where it was even higher child mortality than that.
Yeah.
Just because they didn't understand, clean environment for childbirth, that sort of thing. So women would get infections, they'd die young, kid would die. Everything went horribly wrong. But he doesn't understand that how these factors play into averages. It's like when we were arguing with Hunter Evelyn, he didn't understand what a median was. And Sneako clearly doesn't either.
Dangerous Spaces, thank you. I used to think video games cause violence argument was the stupidest one I would ever hear. Fluoride puberty blockers and TikTok affecting biology just became the new champion. Holy fuck. I'm with you, dude. This is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. TikTok puts off puberty. Fuck.
People used to die in their early 30s in biblical times, and then times of the Quran. Life was over quickly. Now,
if you go by the Bible, I mean, people were living literally into their hundreds.
Yeah, well, Methuselah was 1,000 years old.
Yeah. Again, even back then, people were living into their 50s and 60s was more the norm than dying at 30. That's fucking retarded.
People are dying younger. Moses was like 900, dude. Now we're all dying so young at 80. So yeah,
you ever notice?
Fucking idiot.
You ever notice when you see a crucifix and Jesus up there, he doesn't look like he's otherwise bad off. He died in his 30s. What was he, 33, 35?
33, I think.
And so he's not depicted as an old man who had to be wheelchair accessible cross motherfucker.
Yeah, and they beat the shit out of him and made him drag his own cross. So, yeah, he was obviously a fairly healthy man.
The idea that we were only living till 30 is retarded. It's just dumb.
Oh, it's delayed. People live longer. We have more medicine. We have longer things. People live longer and they mature much later because they're putting goy slop all the time. People are sitting inside chronically. People, they don't have the
fuck is goy slop.
I don't know.
I get that it's some Jewish slur. But
I thought he said goy stop. Like that somehow the Jews have managed to like insert things into people to make them age differently.
Yeah, now they're Jewish puberty blockers.
Yeah, this is I don't know what he's talking about here. I'm not familiar with all the Jewish slurs, but this is dumb. So yeah, thank you, Dangerous. So Jesus started his ministry around 30 and was killed at 33.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Travis Gardner. In Alex Jones' voice, the TikTok is turning the kids trans.
Oh, Christ.
The same maturity level. So at that time, it was normal. Who am I to say that everybody then were terrible people? That makes no sense. They were living fine. They continued society. They colonized. They created things.
We have an answer. It's processed foods with high fructose corn syrup, seed oils, and preservatives.
Sure.
Well, either that or it's where Jewish people buy their video games, according to chat. Thank you, Dangerous, for letting us know that. And Assassin and all everybody else.
Thank you, Frosted Glass. I trade in my games at Goy Stop.
Yeah, he uses religion when it suits him, but then tries to blame a different religion for retrograding humanity. I don't understand the point of what he's describing.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about the changes in society, I mean, he's, puberty blockers and mutilation of children. We've accepted Jews in this country a lot longer than we have Muslims. That happened, what was that, around 2011. That's when it suddenly was like, hey, you can't attack the Muslims, and Muslims got a lot more power, including putting 2 people in Congress, 2 or 3 people in Congress.
You mean 9/11, not 2011.
Oh, 2001 is what I meant to say, not 2011.
Yeah. I think you were
in
thinking of that movie where we made contact.
I was actually mixing up September 11th with 2001. That's what I fucked up.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, I knew what you were doing, but I wanted to clarify that.
So all of this has happened in the 20 years since your religion has become more normalized in my country, motherfucker. Why are you blaming Jews for that?
Yeah, look at how enriched the British have become with all those roving rape gangs.
Yeah.
That are all of a specific religion from the Asian
No, hey,
community.
They asked that girl's father for permission first.
Yeah, right.
Anyhow.
They invented things. They were thriving at that time. For me to say, like,
they were thriving in biblical times?
Your pause game is spectacular.
That's the face he inadvertently makes when a dick is pulled out.
Or is put in.
I needed to understand the definition of thriving, I guess.
Conquest?
Up until the mid, maybe 1500s, I would never say that humanity was thriving. Surviving, sure. And it's not until the 1800s going into the 1900s that we really thrive the way that we are now.
Yeah, the Age of Enlightenment. The Renaissance period, Age of Enlightenment. A lot of that was thriving because we finally were able to do more technological advancement. But like, look at the Dark Ages, lots of plagues wiping people out.
Yeah, just general conquest and the horrors of not having modern conveniences, man.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to our earliest ancestors, I guess you could call it thriving.
Barely. I mean, you still didn't have aspirin or antibiotics or really any kind of first aid. So if you broke something, there's a good chance you're getting it cut off. Have fun avoiding leprosy and tuberculosis.
I guess I need to understand what he means by thrive.
All these people are terrible. Cancel the past.
You don't have
cancel
to
the Roman Empire.
People. You can say that.
All right, let's talk Rome for a minute. That we know of, Caesar was involved with what, 3 women? One was a widower. Then there was his wife, and then who also was not a child of 7. And we're pretty sure he fathered a child with Cleopatra.
Wasn't he married to like a cousin?
Did he marry his cousin? I forget who his wife was.
One of the Caesars did.
The idea that everybody was banging children, it's just not true.
No, not even close.
That has never been true.
That it was a terrible thing. You can say it's a bad thing, which you just did. It is a bad thing. We recognize that it's a
based
bad
off
thing.
of today's standards created by the government. Yes, based off of.
Okay, well, do that same. I hate to pull this, but do that same thing with slavery, which, by the way, is legal in the Bible, and I'm fairly certain it's legal in the Quran too.
Well, it's recognized in the Bible. It's not endorsed per se.
It's not frowned upon. I mean, there's literally a rule about killing your slave.
Yeah, I mean, but it's more. It's a lot more neutral than people tend to give it credit for in the wording. But regardless, there was slavery in the Roman Empire. There was slavery in the Ottoman Empire. There was slavery. There's still slavery today in Yemen.
You better not condemn any of that slavery because that's just modern standards, damn it.
Yeah, well, modern standards, depending on where you live, slavery's still okay. Just to ask, I don't know, Dubai, about all those Filipinos they got working there that can't go home.
It is perfectly fine to look at the past and go, that was fucked up. Even with the arguments we've made about what the founders did that were good, you should still be able to go, yeah, but owning slaves was really fucking wrong.
Yeah. Well, and they knew that too, because a lot of them fought against it. And they wanted several of them wanted it in the Constitution that you could own slaves. Not every founding father was a slave owner.
We do evolve and we do realize that, oh, you know what? Maybe that was a bad idea.
Yeah, morality is an ever-changing tide sometimes.
Even with, in America, a mostly Christian population for the majority of our existence.
Yeah.
I would even argue by the people who claim it still today. So, blow me, Sneako. No, please don't. I know he probably started mouth watering. That's an expression.
Yeah, he was getting all saucy then. He's like, oh, hello, Mr. Monkey. You're a creep. Let me creep on you.
Do you look like Nick Fuentes?
It's based on what we know and how much we know now. It is a bad thing for a child to be with an adult.
I agree.
Right. Again, you get it.
You know what's funny? This all brings me back to our cuties debate from last year.
Is it still your favorite movie?
No, it was never my favorite movie. That was clickbait, but
he did call it his favorite movie. But now it's clickbait because he got so much pushback from it.
The reason that we debated about it is because you didn't finish the movie, right? The girls started off and
I didn't even watch the movie, and there's people you didn't watch it and you criticize it. Yes, 100%, because they had real children dancing sexually, and I don't need to see that.
Yeah, you don't need to see it to know it's wrong.
Yeah, you didn't even watch the movie. Didn't have to. I know the synopsis of the film.
I don't have to experience prison rape to think that it's wrong.
Right.
Your world. In the world where people can cut their penises off, where girls are on TikTok at a young age, where they're doing disgusting things, where liberalism flourishes. At the end of the movie, the girls return to Islam. They find God. That same girl who's doing degenerate acts, who probably believed in transgenderism, this disgusting thing, she put on a hijab, she put her head to the floor, and she prayed. And then we saw actual resolution. We saw the only way that she was going to find peace and prosperity, the only way she was going to be in a world that makes sense is under a God-fearing world. And then,
okay, the problem isn't with the message of the movie. Okay, if you want to say that's the message of it, that's fine. They had actual children dancing sexually, you fucking retard. When we were growing up, Jack, there was a little show that got really big called Beverly Hills 90210 that followed a bunch of teenagers in high school, and none of them were actually minors.
No, they were all like 30. They were all stupid old.
You can do your little art thing and have grown women who look younger to do that part instead of filming the crotches of children grinding. No, it's the message that counts. Fuck you.
Then she changed. That's why I like the movie.
You never understood the problem. It was never the message of the movie.
No, I understand your problem.
Literal, actual children.
I understand your problem. I understand the problem. I agree with, and I agree with you. Then I agree with you.
And you watched it, and you're still defending it. Your problem with Charlie, you just said it, is gay. You didn't even finish watching it. I realize you probably did with your dick out the whole time, but fuck, man.
Now, but that's what I see is the only solution to this degeneracy in the West, because everybody that's going to watch the debate, they're going to agree with the part that you thinking a child can cut his dick off is absolutely disgusting. You're going to see the response to that, and then you might change your opinion on it as well. You can't have this ever developing morality, because then you get this thing.
Okay, you dumb motherfucker. You're both wrong for the same fucking reason. Charlie's wrong about kids cutting off their dicks because they are too young to make those decisions for themselves, just like you're wrong about an adult fucking a child because the child is too young to make that decision. And no, that doesn't mean their dad should do it for them, because that's even weirder.
Yeah.
It bothers me that his standard for whether or not he should bang a kid is if their daddy says it's okay.
Yeah, that's so creepy. Real quick, thank you, Frosted Glass. And if Sneako or anyone else doubts that Muhammad was into little girls, I just DM'd you photographic proof. Don't worry, it's safe to show.
Black Romeo says Charlie never said that. Charlie absolutely said that, because the question from Sneako was, should it be okay? 10 years ago, if you were told it was okay for a child to cut off their dick, would you think that was okay? And Charlie's answer was, I would look into it, and probably yes. If it was their decision, yes. That's absolutely what he said. We covered it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah, I think Charlie is under the impression that there is psychological counseling going on for extended periods of time, is what Black Romeo is trying to get across. So I think he's just mistaken about the process, so it gave him a bad idea of how this works. But Frosted, that's fucked up.
Even with saying that it was with the consent of a doctor and their parents, no, you're basically making the same their parents get to decide argument that Sneako is. No matter how he tried to justify it in his own head there, I get what you're saying there, Jack, but the specific question was a child cutting off their penis. There's no ambiguity about what the question was.
Yeah, I just think Charlie's not explaining himself well, and he's not educated enough on the topic.
I think he's fallen into the mindset that you see from so many people that, well, if this is what they want and they really believe it, he's fallen for the propaganda of it.
Yeah, which is why he needs to look into it more and really find out.
Black Romeo says Charlie doesn't believe that is actually happening. It doesn't matter. Hypothetically, he said it's okay. He wasn't asked about a specific case of it. He was asked hypothetically, what would you think? And he's like, yeah, that'd be fine. As long as the child wanted it. And a doctor who's going to make lifelong money for it.
Yeah.
But Charlie here, to me, he's the biggest problem in this argument. The biggest problem actually isn't the really far out there people. It's the ones who like, well, this would be good for them. They'll kill themselves if they don't. Who fall for the nonsense and don't actually put any other thought into it other than, well, how that child's feeling. Thank you, Dangerous Spaces. People still find underage girls twerking, you piece of shit. Or sorry, still filmed underage girls twerking, you piece of shit. Making a child do disgusting things to make the point that a child doing disgusting things is bad is fucking stupid, sick bastard. I hear you, but he is not smart enough to get that dangerous.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see the same thing when you made an argument that in a extenuating circumstance, a 12-year-old can be physically mature and marry an adult. Like, I think you're going to see a response to that that's not the one you're expecting, because that's not an okay thing. There's never going to be a physically mature 12-year-old, a physically mature. But there were,
for all of human history, there were.
Well, there it is, Jack. Through all of human history, girls were fully developed by 12. Sneako said so on the internet.
Sneako seems to not understand how history works or human biology or physiology, whatever you want to call it. But he also uses history as both a support and an opposition when it suits his needs. He is all over the place. He's inconsistent and he's really dumb. I don't like this man. He might as well hang out with Boogie.
Yeah.
And not even not that long ago.
They weren't.
I read to you UK law. The UK juror, William Blackwell, said a woman can get married at the age of 7, sign it into law.
We can't be using these old laws because there was also old law.
Okay, an old law that said that, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, does not mean girls were all done with puberty by 12 at the time until TikTok came along and started pushing it back. You fucking asshole. You know, Jack, you said he keeps using history both to make his argument and to make arguments against things. It's not even that. It's that he misunderstands and misconstrues what actually happened during all that time.
This is because he's dumb, isn't it?
It's either dumb, lying, or both.
I think it could be both.
It could be. I think it depends on each circumstance.
I just don't like him. His arguments are so disingenuous. He throws out these trick questions and then wants to beat up straw men. It's so tiresome. This is what I hated about Destiny and so many other people. He's got an agenda, and if you don't agree with him, you're wrong.
Laws where you can beat the shit out of your wife and face no repercussion because she's your property.
What law?
Do you agree with that?
What law was that?
I'm giving an example. Like you could do that.
Mm-hmm. There weren't laws for it. There just weren't laws against it, which made it legal. Charlie said that very badly. And that's actually not all that true. There's always been some limitations on beating your wife, unless you're Muslim.
Your wife was your property.
Exactly.
Slavery had
We're agreeing that
laws.
Laws can be wrong. Exactly.
Yeah,
those laws can be wrong. 100%. That's why you need to follow God's law.
Laws can be wrong. That's why you need to follow God's law.
God's law, which is interpreted by people.
All right.
That's the only consistent law. And that's what I follow, and that's what the people that follow this, that's what most people follow. That's what people should, not most people in the West anymore.
Don't you have ink, homie?
I think he's wearing blended fabric. That looks like a cross between cotton and polyester. That's a no-no.
That's what most.
And for the record, we're not fucking with religious people there. Just hate these people. Like, you have to. We have clear evidence of the way a religion is practiced changing over time. Yes, including Islam.
Yes, because interpretation of God's word is what changes over time.
Yeah.
People used the Christian Bible to justify slavery and to oppose it.
True. 100%.
It was all about the interpretation. And guess what? People sided with the, hey, this is bad idea in the end. Real quick, though, thank you, Travis Gardner. Between this, Mr. Beast, and whatever is going on with Dev, YouTube is about to have another adpocalypse. Probably.
Mess says, what's the source for marriage at the age of 7? He what was it, Blackstone or Blackwell from the 1800s? I'm not familiar with whatever weird ass case he looked up to justify wanting to bang kids.
Yeah, he got it off Wikipedia, so.
Da-da.
Sensible people that believe in two genders, that you can't cut your. This is what people believe. They follow God's law. And they would agree. It should not be the age of consent. It should be the age of marriage. People should not be having frivolous sex. They should not be sleeping around doing degenerate things.
This is the dude who twice went to swinger parties with his girlfriend and had a guy licking his girl while he was doggying her and claims that the guy never touched his nuts.
Yeah, right. No, just the shaft.
If you know anything, if you've ever had sex in that position, there's no way his balls were not in that dude's mouth.
At least several times.
They should not be messaging boys when they're married. They shouldn't do any of this stuff. They should get married, have kids, and make a better society.
So did Sneako get married and I missed it?
I don't think so. He's probably still out there fornicating.
Okay, just to put a bow on the whole thing, age of marriage. How do you determine that? So someone in your position, age of marriage is now the law. Who does he start talking to? The parents of what age? What's like when is it physically mature?
Physically mature, again, it depends on the person.
That's just so, you see.
That part is true. It does depend on the person when you are physically mature, which is why we don't base it on that.
Hate fact.
Why that's such an I don't know why I don't see the way that's such an issue. Like Predators that Chris Hansen sat down with said the same thing.
Right,
but this 13-year-old is physically mature.
But you see, this issue in my worldview, this is eradicated because pedophiles, predators, they only exist in a society that allows the age of consent.
Pedophiles
it's not a crime then.
Pedophiles exist without an age of consent because it's literally just the attraction to somebody who hasn't been through puberty, and it doesn't matter if there's a law against it or not.
It's not criminal then, is what he's saying. Yeah. They don't exist for the purposes of crime stats because they just don't exist because they're just banging people that consented.
Yeah. Predators don't exist in your worldview because you allow them to prey on people. You don't see it as a problem. That doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means they have your blessing. Jesus Christ. Sneako, you need Jesus, man.
It encourages people to have sex out of wedlock. In a society, in a world where you're only supposed to pursue people in search of marriage, that's eradicated. Because these people, these predators, you're saying
it's not.
So as long as the child they're preying on, they're planning on marrying, it's not a problem. That's the argument he just made. Nobody will pursue marriage with a 9-year-old or a 6-year-old. That would never happen in his society, Jack. Nobody would go out just to, pick themselves up a nice 6-year-old. What Muhammad really believed in was marriage. Wow.
Yes, it is. What? A predatory thing is you're using a girl and you're throwing her away.
No, that's not what predator means. There are people who prey on women and end up staying married to them for a long time, usually until they kill them.
Yeah. They're called abusive relationships.
Oh, God.
You're taking advantage of her. You're manipulating her. You're selling her a dream.
Nobody would sell a dream to a 6-year-old to get him to touch him, Jack. They're not like give him candy or anything.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're just really upfront about what they're doing. Oh my God, he's an idiot. First of all, they don't get that option if you're asking their dad for their hand in marriage.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what the girl wants, then is it? That doesn't matter at all.
Child. It's the same. That's still predatory.
But it's not predatory. It's not predatory. If the parents agree to it, they agree to it, and they say, yes, it's okay. Now you're.
Again, I keep going to 6-year-old because he claims to be a Muslim. So if a 6-year-old has a parent who says, of course you can marry my child, it's not predatory that you asked in the first place.
No, you just bring a goat to the poorest family you can find, one that is pregnant, so they can have more goats and some milk, and then give the kids some fun dip, and be like, "Oh, you want to get married, right?" And the kid will be like, "Oh, I love candy," and they'll be like, "Oh, you want to trade your daughter for this goat, right?" It's fucking stupid. This man's an idiot.
You're going to take care of. You're going to have a happy marriage. That's actually not predatory at all. Pedophiles and predators only exist when you encourage sex out of wedlock. It's not a.
That is not true at all. Otherwise, rape would not be a problem in any country.
How many stories have we covered in the last few years of married women banging little boys?
Oh, quite a bit. Mostly the teachers' unions,
But hey, marriage stopped them from being predators.
Yeah, because everybody's faithful to marriage. No serial killer ever went outside the bounds of marriage. No rapist ever went outside their marital bounds. No, that sort of thing just doesn't happen. That's just those whores asking for it, right? Idiot.
Problem when you encourage marriage.
Wow, how is it not a problem for someone that's in their 20s to be marrying a 14-year-old if everyone consents? How is that not a problem?
What parent is going to let their child be handed off to a predator?
I don't know her name, but the chick that Muhammad married. Was he asking rhetorically? Was I not supposed to give a real answer?
I don't know.
I'm so going to get blown up for the stream.
Yeah, you are.
There's plenty of bad.
I'm going to be Charlie Hebdo'd over this shit.
You think every parent's great?
Of course
Especially
not.
if that adult comes from like a wealthy background or has a good job.
Mm-hmm.
That happens a lot.
Of course.
That still happens today. There was a video not that long ago. Reporters went over, I forget, I think it was in India, but don't quote me on that. And you have these poor families who are literally selling their daughters.
Oh, yeah. Happens all over in lots of third world countries.
Yeah.
Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, India. Yeah, you pick a third world country, you can exchange goods for a bride. And
they call it for marriage. It's not, hey, I'm selling my child. No, you're going to marry her.
They
just give me a couple of goats.
Dowry.
Mm-hmm. There's outliers, but who's going to care more? And you agreed to this earlier. Who's going to care more about that child, the parents or the government?
The
depends
parents,
on the
100%.
I agree.
So
with that.
I'm gonna trust the parents over the government any day.
So those parents who starved their infant to death by feeding it a vegan diet, you trust them over the government saying, hey, this was wrong. The parents of Jazz Jennings, who's like, this is my little girl, who had Jazz able to go through all the puberty blocking bullshit that you were just arguing against. That's who you trust.
Well, look, Monkey, Munchausen by proxy only exists in countries with age of consent laws.
Jesus Christ. The right answer is not to trust anybody. And this is why we have to have standards. This is why we have to have an age of consent. Because you just can't trust everybody. And just having the age of consent isn't going to stop bad parents, but it gives us a recourse when we find them.
Yeah.
If the parents agree that if the parents agree that this adult is ready, if they say that this marriage is going to be good, and I agree upon this, and I think it's healthy, I think they're ready, 100%. I will take their consent over the government's consent any day.
You're Muslim. I'm shocked.
Yeah. He's starting to sound like a sovereign citizen.
I don't think I'll ever be able to agree with that if there's no line in the sand.
Right, because you think that kids can cut their dicks off.
What? Sorry.
Right, because you think kids can cut their dicks off. Like, we have fundamentally different worldview. And I'm telling, do you believe in God, Moise?
Yeah, I actually grew up very religious. I was baptized twice. I come from a very religious background. I'm not.
I love learning. I did not know this about him until I watched this. I love learning that Internet Jesus is baptized twice.
Wow.
Casual Killing Spree, thank you so much. Can we bring back the laws of common sense? No, it's gone. It is gone. It is only found on streams like this one. The Logical Male, thank you. I guess Nick Ricada agrees with Sneako. I don't get that reference.
The government's out to get it, monkey.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And hey, I just give my daughter cocaine. Anyway.
Oh, hang on. I got a couple here. Thank you, Evolved Potato. The person Sneako keeps referencing is William Blackstone, a judge that wrote a treatise that it was accessible to the layperson. He just wrote down the basics of law so normal people could learn it, which says age of consent is 14 for boys and 12 for girls. Thank you, Keldrig. Well, if we're going to insist on God's law, then my God's law is that people who harm children should have a millstone tied around their neck and tossed in the ocean. I think Muhammad's wife would be very interested to hear about my God's law. That's a good point, Keldrick.
Black Romeo said, do you see Charlie's reaction to that question about kids getting their dicks cut off? He was confused. He was confused because he didn't understand how it related to the discussion they were having, not that he didn't realize he had said that earlier.
I think by this point in the conversation, Charlie's probably mentally fried and ready to go to bed because he's got a massive migraine. So he might be legitimately confused. Like, I don't know, just shut the fuck up and go away.
But I do come from a background in it.
Why not anymore? If you're seeing disgusting things, I mean, if you're not a Catholic anymore, then why do you think a man can become a woman? That's.
Did he say Catholic?
Yes. Charlie didn't, but I think it was assumed.
Do you believe in God, Moise?
Yeah, I actually grew up very religious. I was baptized twice. I come from a very religious background. I'm not so much anymore, but I do come from a background in it.
I was baptized, but I was not raised Catholic, Jack. I was raised Baptist, actually.
Yeah, I mean, like Baptists or Seventh-day Advent, I would think of, if somebody said they're very religious, I would think of those way before Catholic. Catholic would be like fifth on the list.
Why not anymore? If you're seeing disgusting things, I mean, if you're not a Catholic anymore, then
how do you get baptized twice? It can happen if you change churches.
Yeah, or if you go to like you got baptized with just a little dinky bit of water on the head as a baby, and then as an adult you want to be baptized again, they take you out to the pond or something and dunk you in. You can be baptized tons of times. It doesn't mean anything.
Thank you, Dangerous. Mature enough for sex, but also need parent consent. I know someone who teaches job skills to formerly sex trafficked girls. Otherwise, they are just returned to the families, then resold into prostitution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sneako's living in a world that doesn't exist.
It's because he lives in a world of ignorance and stupidity.
Why do you think a man can become a woman? That's nothing biblical.
I was a Baptist, not a Catholic, but
hey, I didn't even catch that the first time I watched that. Yeah. Baptized, baptism. Yeah.
Yeah. When people say extremely religious, they usually mean Baptist.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some hardcore Catholics, but they don't really compare to the Baptists.
Man, our pastor was fire and brimstone, man. He would beat the pulpit. His face would turn all red and he'd be screaming.
Yeah. I wandered into a snake handling church one time, and trust me, the Catholics look kind of tame compared to that.
I've never been to one like that. Like, we had a friend who went to a Seventh-day Adventist church, and she was telling me about the holy roller shit they do, and I'm like, and you still go? All right. I mean, to each their own.
Yeah, I mean, some people belong to Westboro Baptist, so
yes, yeah, exactly. What, like 28 people believe in that shit? So
yeah, I mean, there's all sorts.
It's just
crazy...
weird that he immediately went to Catholic.
Well, they tend to hate the Catholics the most. You know, they're the bigger European one that was actually fighting with the Muslims more.
It's because I believe that a lot of the old worldview is outdated and ever changing. And I believe that all spirituality preaches love and tolerance. One of your big things is love speech, but most of what you spew is hatred towards other people.
I don't spew any hatred.
That's not true.
Do we need to go back to the Jews control everything stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there was hatred in this.
I don't spew any hatred. Them fucking Jews control everything.
Like, even half of your spiels here are targeted to people that...
Just because you say hateful shit nice doesn't mean that it's not hateful. I often say things that are hateful in a very pleasant tone, Jack.
You have fundamental disagreements with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like
disagreement.
You're coming at them
disagreement is not hate.
That's true.
But it's coming from a place of hate. You're not just disagreeing. You're calling them like monsters, basically. Like you
people that encourage children to take to cut their penises off and take hormone blockers. Those are bad people. Those are bad people. Do I hate them? No.
I hate them. I want to be clear on that, and I have no problem with saying I hate them. I don't. Jesus doesn't judge me. Me and him don't speak, so I'm allowed to hate. And people who tell children to mutilate themselves, I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
And I don't care who knows.
Yeah, if that's a problem, I'm okay with having a few problems. So
yeah,
I spread love. I want them to come to God. I want them to find something that makes sense. I do not want them to put out.
It is funny to me that as a Muslim, he keeps saying God instead of Allah.
Yeah, it's a little weird because that's not normal. But he might be softening it up for the normies or some bullshit excuse because he's not very good at it.
Negativity into the world. I don't hate anybody.
That's not how it comes across them. Then perhaps a reformatting of your love speech. But for me, I never have a problem with how people want to live their lives. Like you have entire autonomy over your body. That doesn't.
When you're an adult, I agree with you. But when we're talking about children, no.
Well, as long as they're not hurting other people, that's generally the qualification. I do have a problem with serial killers, and rapists and murderers and car thieves.
Yeah. Mess says Allah is not the same God. What Jack meant there is that he's using more of the colloquial term of God instead of like Shiva or a specific named God. That he's dressing it down that way. I assume. I'm sorry, I spoke for you there. That was
no, because a lot of the Muslims will tell you that the God of Islam is not the same as the God of the Bible. Some will say otherwise, but that's why they distinguish it. They call him Allah, but they often will, when talking to lay people, they will change it to just God. So it's more of a conversation technique than anything else. I don't think that's what Sneako's doing, but that's often what happens in these kind of conversations.
Yeah, it's like saying I saw my doctor versus I saw Dr. Steve,
Yeah. Or I saw the doctor.
Yeah, it's more a general term than the actual. But most actually devout Muslims say Allah. They're very clear.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chaos One, thank you. Just got back from Thailand visiting the fiance. Something came up and I had to explain to her that the Middle East is considered Asian. She thought I was joking. And when I showed her proof, she goes, "Are they stupid? Did you tell her yes?"
Yeah, because they're stupid.
Isn't Allah also the God of Abraham? It depends on which sect you're going with. Yes and no.
Yeah, look, there's an ancient moon goddess from that region that was named something similar to Allah, and there's theories that that's where the name came from. But a lot of Islamic sects will say no, it's a different god because you don't want to be associated with the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, it's a branch of Abrahamic religion. So in the broad sense, there's a lot of inspiration there. So it's kind of a trick question. So yes or no, depending on who you talk to within the faith and what sect they are, like Monkey said. Like you talk to the 12ers, no, not at all. I think it's Sunnis don't believe that either. It's one of the main sects, but there's a lot of little sects, just like in Christianity.
Thank you, Snubber. I've never met a practicing Muslim call him God, only American hipsters who are just atheists with window dressing. Fair enough.
Yeah, and that's what I would go with Sneako being. He's one of those pseudo-Muslims. You see a lot of women wearing the hijab that do that too in the West. It's a costume they're wearing for clout.
For the record, he became Muslim because of Andrew fucking Tate, who is totally a devout Muslim as he smokes and drinks constantly.
Yeah, and fornicates. Yeah.
Doesn't bother me. And my religious background, I was always taught about how it's always better to accept as opposed to reject. Like, there's never any reason to hold on to some hatred for people, especially when
Again, it's not the people that soft ass pseudo Christians. You're still supposed to hate the sin, homie.
That's where liberals get confused. It's not hatred, like not accepting things that are bad. That's not hatred. That's drawing a line. Just like how you don't accept saying below 18. That's not acceptance.
Below. You need to enunciate. He's out here blowing 18-year-olds.
Yeah. No, guys, the 12ers are a specific cult of Islam. I think they're Shia Muslims or branch off of that believe that it is their religious duty to bring about the apocalypse. Because in their version of the apocalypse, things are flipped from the Christian version, where the 12th Imam will return from the well that he was living in and bring about the destruction of Israel and various other places of non-belief, and Jesus will join him on that crusade. It's basically just the flipped version of the book of Revelation from John. So they are a very specific cult, and there's only a couple hundred members, but they basically run Iran. I know Glenn Beck did a documentary on them. There's other videos out there too that aren't from Glenn Beck.
Danger says Tate couldn't be a Muslim. The women are too old. Well, we'll find out at trial. Remember, that's the one that Candace Owens and them don't want to talk about. There's some other charges out there.
By your logic, you're saying that's hatred people. That's hateful, right? Like if you believe,
that's a very fair point. That is a super fair point.
If you believe in something consistent, then drawing a line and saying this is not allowed, like incest or bestiality, these things which you agree are wrong. It's like I don't hate people who are committing incest. I don't.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did I just hear what I thought I heard?
Yep. Okay.
I hate people who believe they're dogs. I feel bad for them. I'm trying.
Okay. We really need to clarify terms here because he's mixing furries up with bestiality. Those are two entirely different things, even though there's some crossover.
I mean, there's
people who dress up like dogs and have sex with other people who dress up like dogs are not into bestiality.
Not generally, no.
People who bang their dog are into bestiality.
Yeah, and you could be a beast. Bestiality weirdo, just a pervert. All right, you're just a degenerate animal fucker, and you're a filthy waste of human skin.
Full Metal Joker, thank you so much. It's okay to hate those who do harm to children if you're Christian, because it teaches in the Bible that it is better to lay in a bed of lava than let harm come to them. Also, fuck Sneako. Yeah, and for the record, I will never be one of those people who says hate is wrong, because I absolutely believe in hate, and I think it is necessary in some cases. I hate pedophiles, and I'm okay with hating pedophiles.
Yeah. It's the 12ers are Shia. My bad.
It's so hard to tell.
I don't know enough about Islam to keep up with this stuff, and I really don't want to get involved in it. But yeah, look up their prophecies. It's pretty fucking crazy.
I'm not Hassan. I can't tell the difference of explosion sounds.
Oh yeah, yeah. Some have a softer sound, others have reverb.
That was funny. I don't care what y'all say.
And I don't want to encourage it. I want to stop that. It sounds like, I guess it sounds angry because I talk about these things, but I would look into this person. I look into that. And I see someone lost. Right? I see somebody confused. I see somebody that's brainwashed by the Zionist propaganda.
Has he been watching Jim Jones videos?
Quite possibly.
He's going into preacher mode here.
Also, I don't think the Zionists are pushing for incest. I mean, nobody wants the Habsburg chin floating around a lot more prominently.
I can say that about you as well, though. I see someone that's lost about this age of consent, like what is and is not okay to marry. Like, it's very easy to turn around and say the same about you. Because in my eyes, you do seem lost. You've gone through this radical shift in your perspectives in a very short period of time. And to me, it seems like it's because of who you've surrounded yourself with and what you've taken in.
100% true. This guy is a sponge.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have a lot of independent thought. It's mostly just regurgitating what other people around him are saying. He's definitely more of a follower than a leader type.
Mm-hmm.
And not a very smart one on top of that.
Like, it doesn't seem
just like you. The same reason you believe.
I'm not saying that it's like unnatural or weird or anything. That's not the point I was getting at.
Thank you, Snubber. God's law, but not those Jews in that one place. Yes.
Yeah, not their God.
Not that God. No.
I'm just saying how easy it is to easily turn that around on you as well. When you're arguing for things like there can be a physically mature 14-year-old or whatever that can marry an adult, like those kind of things.
All right, we've been watching this for 25 minutes, and it's just repetitive over and over and over again from there. And that's why we didn't start from the beginning, chat, because I really wanted to get to where he was blaming Jews.
I would thank you for that, but you still made me watch this. So.
The part that's coming up is where he starts telling Charlie that he only believes this shit because he watches Jewish media. It's fucking awesome. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever watched in my entire life, and we're all dumber for having seen it. Sorry, guys. Anybody who's coming out there and telling you, hey, we need to lower age of consent, especially when their new standard is something as vague as physical maturity, they're just telling you they want to fuck kids.
Yeah.
They want to put their wiener, and especially when you put on top of that, as long as their dad says it's okay. Jesus Christ.
Fucking gross.
I do not understand why anybody still puts any thought into what Sneako says other than to laugh at him. If that's what it is, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I just did it for 2.5 hours. But otherwise, why? How can you take that guy seriously? And on Charlie's side, he really is. He is the real problem with the world. Sorry, Charlie. Hey, I didn't even mean to do that.
Well, he's not going to be in Starkist.
There's kids in the audience who just didn't get that at all.
Yeah.
Sorry, Charlie, but you are the problem because you're one of those people who refuses to just stand up and say this is wrong because you're too worried about people's feelings, and you give way too much credit to a child and what they want. You cannot, just like with the age of consent thing, we have to have a limit, and we do for most things. We say 18. And when you're talking about mutilating a child and being like, no, as long as the child wants to do it. No, you're just wrong on that. I get the impulse. I do. Because you've been told that the kid will kill themselves if you don't let them cut off their wiener. That's nonsense. Yes, it does have a higher suicidal ideation rate, but there is no proof of a massive suicide increase. The 41% is not suicides. It is suicide ideation. And that should tell you that kid needs therapy, not surgery.
Yeah.
It's the only time when suicide is used to say, like, hey, we need to cut off a body part.
Well, we also can't ignore the fact that a lot of people that are now identifying as trans are actually autistic. There are a lot of factors at play here that require mental health services, not butchery by a bunch of greedy doctors.
Yep. They both exposed each other's hypocrisy. You're right, Frosted. Absolutely. That is a great way to put it. And with that, we're going to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out and donating and watching and interacting with us. We love you guys.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for everything. Jack, anything you want to show?
I'll drop some links to some cool videos. As always, like Monkey said, thank you so much for supporting us. It means a lot to us, and it's how we get things done around here. It's what we do. This is our job, and we appreciate your support.
I just want to wrap up by saying, Jeremy, you're a fucking weirdo, and you can go fuck yourself, pussy ass bitch. Sorry, Jack. Thank you so much for joining me, my friend.
Oh, I'm always glad to be here.
Everyone, have a wonderful night. Take care of yourselves. We love you, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Never leave before the song. It could be about my dong. I haven't sang about my penis in a while. Now that I have, I hope your day is done and you got a big smile. And tile in your bathroom.
What?
By the mile. I'm just rhyming things with while.
Oh, that takes a lot of style.
And style with your bathroom tile. Bye.
It's true.